Tonight we welcome you to Pofftown, North Carolina for our Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week presented by Roan Law. It's a 4A matchup with early playoff implications. The Reagan Raiders want to continue a hot start in league play. The West Forsyth Titans, they want to continue 2 straight wins and carry forward here the month of October. It's playoff time, geared up for some fantastic high school football. We welcome you on the field here at Reagan High School. Evan Budrovich and Mark Covert with you. How about this? Old school versus new school tonight. West Forsyth wants to run the ball down the opponent's rock, and Reagan, they want to sling the ball around the field. So how do these two offenses find success tonight?
Well, it's got to be about staying on time and on key, right? If you're Reagan, you want to keep that ball going in the air. You want to make sure that it stays in the air, gets to your guys in space. For West Forsyth, it's one of those occasions where taking your time is going to work to your advantage. Make sure you are staying on time and on schedule and really working those backs led by Chaplin in the backfield.
While these offenses are oh so different, they come from the same school with our head coaches. So we have more with Rebecca Fiorentina.
Thanks so much, guys. Well, there's no doubt the rivalry between these two schools runs deep. Not just because they're conference foes, but because their head coaches share a unique bond. Reagan's Josh McGee played at West Forsyth when current head coach Adrian Snow was on staff. The relationship dates back 20 years that even their daughters grew up together playing around on the field. McGee then went on to coach under Snow, and he told us he wouldn't be where he is today had he not learned how to run a winning program and how to lead people from Coach Snow. Although Coach McGee has been the head coach at Reagan for 12 years now, the two of them call each other or text almost every day. But this week is different. It's game week. Coach Snow telling us, no, we don't talk during the week we play. We'll talk after the game on Friday.
Thanks, Rebecca. It's certainly a homecoming for these two head coaches. And when we come back, we gear up for Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. It's the Reagan Raiders and the West Forsyth Titans. Should be a great night for high school football when we come back. Welcome back as the Reagan Raiders run down the hill for high school football. Two league rivals. And Mark Covert, Evan Budrovich with you, Rebecca Fiorentina on the sidelines. These clubs have some reasons to win tonight, right in the middle of league play. We're going to dive into our players to watch early on because these programs have some heavy hitters. For West Forsyth offensively, Cayman Chaplin, the junior running back, how does he carry the load for this team?
He's such a monster. I mean, such a hoss in the backfield and so difficult to bring down. When we saw him 3 weeks ago, that Mount Tabor defense had some troubles containing him. He's going to look to have a hot streak continued here tonight. And flip it over to that defense for Reagan. It wouldn't be what it is without Nick Hall, the linebacker, number 11 right there. Senior leader, you see he's got that linebacker look, the neck plate on the back and everything like that. But strong kid, smart kid as well. Very instinctive at that linebacker position and a natural leader, exactly what you need in the middle of your defense.
Nick Hall, much like yourself, has Catawba offers coming out of college, so he's got great opportunity to play at the next level. And then, Mark, in terms of the keys to the game, the West Forsyth, the road squad, you mentioning run to set the pace. How does this running offense control the game tonight?
Well, it's running to set up the pass. And really for West Forsyth, it's one of those things where they've got to be able to run successfully on those early downs and really set the tempo here early on. And when it comes to throwing the football, you got to limit those drop passes. A couple weeks ago when we saw them, there was a whole lot of drops by this receiving core. They've got to clean that up here tonight to go on the road and get a win in conference play. Look at Reagan. They got to attack through the air. Again, going over the top, getting your guys in space and taking advantage of mismatches on the outside and disrupting those runs that West Forsyth loves to do so early.
So Ryder Lawson to boot the football away. Reagan versus West Forsyth, a league matchup tonight. And we begin. That's a booming kick that goes into the end zone. So our first look at this West Forsyth offense, 2 straight wins for head coach Adrian Snow, and it's come because of the offense. 80 points in the last 2 weeks.
And it just seems so different from what we saw a few weeks ago. This team has picked it up offensively. They've rediscovered that physical mindset that an Adrian Snow football team has. Now they seem to get on a roll here, and they can go a long way towards getting back into league play with a win here tonight.
Cayman Chaplin, certainly the star, a team best 760 yards on the ground this year. And this offense runs through Cayman Chaplin in the eyes of his head coach, Adrian Snow. On the first play of the ball game, Burt Rice, the quarterback, a tunnel screen to Jordan Stevens, who breaks the tackle and gets the first down. Nice gain of 11 to get this game started.
Just a really nice play, too, on first down. Just getting them going, especially with Burt Rice. Get those confidence throws going early on, even if they're short, over the middle, and quick. You got to get those completions going and get the confidence of your passing game up.
Jordan Stevens moved into the slot last week, had 4 catches, and that's a Crescent Ford first down. So on a fresh set of downs, there's Chaplin on the ground, and he's tripped up by Samaj Turner, the Duke commit, on this defensive line.
And you know this defense is going to key in on Chaplin out of the backfield here tonight. They know he likes to run physical. You've got to game tackle and get him to the ground in a hurry, and don't let him break that first tackle and break it for after contact. That's exactly what you want to do. Get him on the ground in a hurry and don't allow him to pick up those yards after contact.
First carry for Chaplin. Now play action pressure, and Rice is sacked. A loss of 3 from this Reagan defense.
See the way they got upfield, forced Rice to step up into the pocket, and then it collapsed around him. Great job by that defensive front of Reagan.
Here's the Cook Reynolds starting lineups for Reagan defensively. 27 sacks on the year, including 1 more tonight. Turner, Jackson, and Bryant really good on that defensive line.
I mean, they're monsters up front. Already talked a little bit about Turner, obviously a commit on his own, a high-level commit, but all those guys along the defensive front are monsters and a haul to deal with.
The best defensive line under Reagan's entire tenure for Richard Burton, the defensive coordinator. So here's 3rd and 10 for West Forsyth. Rice steps up, fires, sideline, caught! Jordan, whoa, what a catch. Keon Bailey elevates.
I mean, how about the deep shot down the field? One-on-one coverage. Rice sees it on the outside, takes his shot, and gets it just over the head of the defender. Watch this right here. Burt Rice steps into the pocket. Clean throw, clean pocket to throw it from, and Bailey with the extra effort to go up and over the top of the defender.
A 30-yard gain, swung out now to Jordan Stevens, breaks 1 tackle. Stevens down to the 31. That's a nice chunk play. We told you West Forsyth could run the ball. More passing tonight.
And I like the way that they followed that deep pass up with quick tempo, getting back on the football and running it again, while this defense may be a little tired here to start the game, a little flabbergasted by getting hit deep and then coming back underneath with a quick play.
West Forsyth only averages 100 yards passing per game, nearly 40 on this opening drive.
It's a great start. Again, you have to find the complement to your running game. It's passing the football.
2nd and short, and there's the first down. Chaplin gets 3 to move the chains. Mark, how about this offense for West Forsyth? Cook Reynolds starting attack. We told you Chappell can run the ball. Bailey, the deep threat. And then Brian Wyatt, who's a tailback and a receiver. Very versatile in this offense.
And they've got some of those guys that can kind of do both. They can run, they can throw, they can pass. They've got a couple of guys. They're not just receivers or running backs or quarterbacks. They're offensive weapons. And Stevens and Wyatt have to complement Bailey here tonight. Get open and catch the ball when it comes their way.
Fresh set of downs for Rice. Throws and caught. Nice juggling catch. And Burt Rice is a perfect start passing the football. He finds Gabe Apkin that time.
Hurried that time, but Rice able to just get enough on that football to get out to Apkin and allow him to go after that football, pull it off of the turf, a shoestring catch. And a great effort on first down.
Ackman, to his credit, 4 big receptions and 5 carries last week. So productive. On 2nd and 6, we have a flag. And our first whistle of the night. Here's Steve Costello with the call. Penalties have been costly for West Forsyth this year. 8 penalties a game. How does that clean up for Adrian Snow's team?
Well, it's got to come down from a mental standpoint. Really, right there, it's all about holding your water as a false start on 2nd down. So you have a pretty successful play on 1st down, get some yards, get on schedule, and then that backs you up an extra 5. And this offense is not one that's built to come back from being behind the chains. They need to make sure they clean it up and not penalize themselves.
Rice feeds his tailback. And a nice run for Apkin. Breaks 1, but not 2. Shoestring tackle for a loss of 1. Sets up 3rd and long.
It's good penetration by this Reagan offense or defensive front, excuse me. Getting up there and disrupting the play early on. You see Apkin wanting to go up the middle, but it was disrupted, had to bounce it outside. And a host of Raiders was out there in pursuit. Really good job by this defense to penetrate up front.
Great tackle from Cooper Mihalko, the junior DB. My apologies, that's Kamari Carter. Those numbers, those 8 and 0s can blend together early in the first quarter. Carter, the starting linebacker. Reagan has more tackles for loss than any team in the 4A West Conference. On 3rd and 12, it's a running play, and hardly enough. That's just 2 yards. There's Turner on the tackle. What do you do here on 4th and 10?
Well, you're kind of caught in no man's land here, and I wonder, they've got to almost go for it. Too long for a field goal. We saw some of the issues they had a few weeks ago with special teams, and way too short to punt. I think they're just kind of in no man's land. They've got to go for this.
Almost a 3rd down play to set up 4th down here for Burt Rice in this offense. He's perfect passing the ball. Rice coming off a game, 85 yards passing in the win over Glenn. That was a touchdown victory against their league rivals. Now who's going to be that number 2 seed in the conference as the play clock hits 2 and a timeout call. Chance to talk this over. And we'll take the timeout. 5 minutes into this first quarter, Adrian Snow's club looks for an early conversion on 4th down. We'll find out what happens next here on Friday Night Rivals.
Welcome back to Reagan High School. 7 minutes left to play in this first quarter, and we asked Coach Snow what's been the difference as of late, and he told us the first group that he mentioned was the guys in the trenches up front, protecting the quarterback. One of their own linemen is a freshman. That's number 56, PJ Dean, the right tackle. Coach Snow telling us he's learning. As a freshman, you're going to make mistakes, but he's just continues to prove week in and week out. When you keep improving, you have good results.
Rebecca, this kick is blocked. So a little trouble protecting on that right side. And what a block by Jaleel Rogers coming in to make the stop.
Well, we saw some of the stuff from a couple weeks ago with snapping the football was kind of the issue. Now it's just the protection. Coming flying off the edge, you see Rogers extending his body to get out in front of that football. A great block that time. And just like that, Reagan takes back over on offense for the first time of the game. Gotta love the special teams play right there. Look at the extension, the effort to dive for that football and get out there, get your big paws on it.
Rogers, one of the 4 team captains for Josh McGee's club. And here's the Reagan Pirate offense, 25 points a night. Reagan Raider offense. What a stop on the first play. Crashing in a tackle for loss. And West Forsyth bringing it with Caleb David.
Caleb David is a freak of nature. He is an athlete of every sort, that linebacker spot.
Cook Reynolds starting lineup. J.D. LeGrant, stud defensive lineman. We saw David a moment ago lead the conference in tackles. And T.J. Fergus, the stud safety.
You can't forget about Caleb Benson either. Along that offense or that defensive front, they are studs in their own right for West Forsyth.
2nd and 12 for the Raiders. A comeback win at Davie, at Glenn the last 2 weeks. The resilience has extremely impressed Josh McGee, the head coach. He said our team is more mature than ever before to handle adversity. Led by a true freshman quarterback, Jacob Smith. He runs play action. Smith fires. That's a catch. And a big first down. Makai Purvis, the former quarterback, stretches the field to the 30.
Right, QB to QB, right from there on. Smith fired it in there. What a throw on his first pass attempt of the game.
26-yard gain. Here's the Cook Reynolds starting lineup. I mentioned Smith, a true freshman. He's a baseball standout and a football quarterback. And then Harvin and Purvis, the big weapons for Smith.
Just so many weapons at those skill positions for this offense of Reagan.
The Raiders love to sling the rock. 150 yards passing a game. Only run the ball for about 80 yards a night, so nearly double the production. Big test for Josh McIntosh's defense here for West Forsyth. Smith feeds his tailback. Nice job moving the chains and pushing forward. Zion Saunders gets nearly 5 on his first carry.
It's a good tough run that time into the teeth of that West Forsyth defense. Got to get in there, those tough yards, cover up the football, keep those legs churning, get as many yards as possible. It's a productive run on first down.
Zion Saunders comes from a great family. 9 children in his family, 3 sets of twins, and he's the stable, fundamental rock of that group.
You gotta love the maturity. Again, across this entire offense, just another example in Saunders.
Smith slings. That's a catch. And nearly a first down. Cassidy Harvin a yard short.
That's 2 throws for Smith, and both have been on an absolute rope. You see right here, steps into the throw, fires it out there, and that hit his receiver right in the numbers. Just a great catch, great throw.
12th catch of the year for Cassidy Harvin, and they give Reagan the first down. So a perfect start passing for both quarterbacks. One a true freshman who inherited the job in his 2nd game of the season. Here he is, just his 3rd start. For Jacob Smith, the freshman. Play action. Nice catch for Harvin, and he's inside the 10, 1st and goal.
Kind of bobbled that one a little bit. Catch it the first time, but the concentration has still come down with that football. Move the sticks yet again. Just like that. Still looks like 1st and goal.
So Josh McGee's offense inside the 10 on the opening drive for Reagan. There's Jalen Moore, the tailback, next to Smith, who throws the same play and a touchdown for Harvin. 3rd catch of the drive for Harvin, and that's a Riddle Tractor touchdown. Riddle Tractor making tall grass short.
Say, correct me if I'm wrong here, Evan, but that's the 3rd catch in a row for Harvin. That time to slant into the end zone. What a route, and the connection is on early. Smith making accurate throws, good reads. early in this one, and the Raiders draw first blood.
First touchdown of the season for Cassidy Harvin. That's a big presence. He's wearing the bandana. He's ready to go on pink out night tonight here in North Carolina. He's ready to go. And Pufftown. Extra point for Ryder Lawson. That looks pretty good early on. And Reagan marches down the field after the blocked field goal. This gets it started on defense, and then it's the Harvin show on offense. A touchdown lead early for Reagan late in this first quarter. You're watching Carolina Classic Friday Night Rivals football here on My 48. Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands at Caring Hands Home Health. We understand that the happiness of your loved ones is important to their overall wellness. Well, the Raiders trying to make life tough for the Titans tonight. An efficient drive, 6 plays, 56 yards in just under 3 minutes. Now West Forsyth, who marched down the field themselves. Blocked field goal derailed it. They get the football right back.
Yeah, and they've got to find a way to answer back for that score. The way that Reagan marched down the field, they were on time, on target with almost every single play. Another efficient drive by West Forsyth here would do them a lot of good, especially if they can get points on the board.
Jordan Stevens back to receive for West Forsyth, and he watches the booming leg of Ryder Lawson. Send that in the back of the end zone. Ryder, he has offers from UNC, Maryland, South Carolina, really good kicker. That's a special teams weapon for Reagan.
Not terrible, right? We've seen some pretty good kickers so far this season on Friday Night Rivals as well. Ryder Lawson, just another one in the long line of those. You see the booming leg right there, and anytime you can start the opposing offense back at the 20-yard line and not give them the opportunity to return is a huge boon for your team.
Great point in field position. Unlike college at the 25, you pin someone inside the 20. That's a nice weapon for either of these coaches. Second drive for Burt Rice, who's a perfect 4 of 4 passing. He hands it off to Chaplin. That's a big run. Breaks a tackle. Chaplin into open space inside the 50. Chaplin down the sideline. Chaplin beats everyone. 80-yard touchdown for West Forsyth. That's a Riddle tractor touchdown. A huge 80-yard run for Chaplin, his 6th of the year.
Absolutely. Just see the afterburners. Saw everything right there from Kamon Chaplin. Breaking a tackle, finding the vision to find the hole. See right there. And then breaking a tackle, putting on the brakes. And then from there was the open field speed, using his receiver down the field, blocking as well. Just an all-around great play, and Chaplin the straight line speed to finish it off.
So West Forsyth goes for 2, lobbed up and knocked away. Great coverage. Kamari Carter, he saved a 2-point play. And how about West Forsyth losing confidence in special teams, going for 2 early?
Well, right away, too. We saw the blocked field goal already as well. That's just not a good sign. Even if they can score all these touchdowns here tonight, that's not a good sign if you can't just nail down a simple PAT.
It was Davier Eldridge, the backup quarterback, throwing that route. And Mark, take me through the mindset now. If West Forsyth is going for 2 all night, how does that change your approach offensively?
Well, you just got to make sure you keep your foot on the gas pedal, right? I mean, as long as you're scoring points and you're able to get there and put those points on the board, it makes a difference. Just defensively, they got to lock in. I think realistically, they think they can score. They've already seemed like a different team from what we saw 3 short weeks ago at this point. They've just got to continue to keep their their foot on the gas pedal offensively and just come up with stops defensively. Obviously a lot harder.
Well, 80 points in the last 2 league games
right.
certainly helps.
Well, absolutely. The confidence is there. It seems like a different team. You can see it even from where we're at in the booth. There's a different swagger. There's a mindset that's a little bit different here.
Adrian Snow mentioned the development of his offense comes from sharpening the axe. The more he can improve his team's persona and performance and not worry about the score and circumstance, maybe that's a factor tonight.
Well, you got to take that out of their head, because if you sit there and you're chasing numbers the entire game, that's a problem.
So Alejandro Morion to kick this off. Former soccer standout booms one into the end zone. I tell you what, if Morion could get some protection, he's got the leg to make deep field goal.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where it starts at, but they've also got to give him the chance to get back out there and attempt those field goals. The confidence right now seems to be lost.
Josh McGee guides his offense that has had no trouble scoring 41 points at Davie last week. But it came in the second half, 20 unanswered, running the ball for 327 yards. We mentioned Zion Saunders. Yet on that first drive, 4 for 4 passing from the freshman quarterback.
Well, even rushing for over 300 yards last week at the middle of the season as you're starting to gear into playoff mode. You've got to love that if you're an offensive coordinator. Just knowing your offense can still run the ball and pass the ball as we all know they can.
Opening handoff and a breaking hole. 15 plus for Jalen Moore, the third string running back. True freshman. Nice explosive crescent forward first down.
Offensive line did a good job of opening the hole on the right side there, allowing him a clear running lane to go through at full speed.
Jalen Moore joined the varsity team on September 30th. He gets the rock here on first down, and look at those wheels. Breaks a tackle, and another first down. What an impact for the true freshman.
You see the balance. He broke out of a tackle, got spun around, and still stayed up on his feet. What a feat by the freshman. You see him busted outside, and then right there turns around, but still stays on his feet. The balance is impressive for such a young football player, making an impact here on these first 2 plays of the drive.
Rebecca Fiorentino has more on the quarterback. Rebecca?
Yeah, you guys mentioned the development of a young quarterback. Well, on the last drive that turned into a touchdown, I saw him come off the field and he spoke with every single one of his offensive players and then went to go talk to his head coach, Josh McGee. And they talked about dropping back in the pocket, being aware of what's going on. Cassidy said, I didn't even know you were going to throw it to me. That's awesome, man. Their communication is important for this young quarterback as he continues to develop and learn.
Jacob Smith doesn't have a driver's license, yet he's motoring this offense down the field as a true freshman. Already with offers to NC State on the baseball side, and following a 15-yard penalty, moves inside the 40 for Reagan.
Can you be the engineer of an offense if you don't have a legal driver's license?
It's a heck of a question mark over. We'll have to have Rebecca Fiorentino find out. Who drives the quarterback home after he throws for 200 yards tonight?
Oh, man. Is it a touchdown drive if he's on it?
So Smith on 1st and 10. Goes to his lead tailback, Zion Saunders. There's the speed. Saunders leaps a defender to the 16. That's a 21-yard run.
And I'll tell you what, if this ground game gets going, it's going to be a long night for anyone, particularly tonight. East Forsyth, you see this offensive line again. The lead block right there, that's number 14 leading the way. That's Blackman. And then, of course, see Saunders breaking it outside, getting it upfield in a hurry.
Saunders explosive, gets the ball again. And goes nowhere. Torian Johnson with the stop. And this D-line thinks they have a fumble recovery, but it is ruled down. So a gain of just back to the line of scrimmage then. How about those defenders punching the ball out late?
Yeah, well, you had 3 Titans surrounding Saunders that time. He had nowhere to go. He just got to cover up that football. Lift play, another down.
Reagan's offense, knock on wood, 0 fumbles this year. An offense that has been cruising as of late. 35 points per game in the last 2. And that was coming off a tough loss to East Forsyth, one of the best teams in the state, maybe the #1 team in North Carolina.
Yeah, a lot of teams have said that this year so far.
2nd and 10. Smith outside, almost picked, then caught. Juke, touchdown! Nazir Blackman with an incredible play for 6.
I mean, my goodness. My goodness, did you see this throw to the outside? It was red. Dead to rights and just gets through there over the top. Blackman able to make that catch. Impressive catch by Blackman going through traffic and finding that football. But what a throw by the freshman Smith.
The confidence of Smith to find Blackman for his first touchdown, and the extra point, a perfect passing start for the true freshman. He is All perfect so far through the air, and an efficient 5-play, 80-yard drive. Mark, tell me how this freshman has maintained and controlled this offense so far.
Well, it's confidence. You start there. Look at this throw. Bobbles the snap initially and fires it out there so fast that Marcus Wilson can't even get a hand on it. I mean, the junior corner read that thing perfectly. That's a throw.
Back. And then Blackman with a great move here.
And you know, you can't tell sometimes as a freshman, is it confidence or is it just kind of getting lucky? But the way that he's been playing right now, Jacob Smith, you're going to get benefit of the doubt. That's confidence. That is a heck of a throw out to the far side of the field.
And offensive coordinator Josh McGee is also the head coach, chatting with his quarterback. He told us about Smith this week. He said his demeanor and poise is next level, and yet he's only 15 years old.
And you can see it here early on. I mean, there's a difference in the way that he is going about his business, the way he has come into this field as a true freshman and made an impact here. McGee has found himself a quarterback seemingly here with the young Jacob Smith. This coaching staff has to be tickled to death.
So Lawson sends a low kick that goes out of bounds. Great field position here for West Forsyth.
Kind of shank that one off.
Reminds me of your 7-iron, middle of the fairway.
It's every iron, bud.
Alongside Mark Coburn, Rebecca Fiorentino on the sidelines. Evan Budrovich with you tonight from Pufftown, North Carolina. A rivalry that dates back to 40 years of high school football. Not to mention these two have met in the playoffs 2 of the last 4 years. They've eliminated each other. And now they meet to try to maintain that #2 spot in the league standings behind East Forsyth.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone's going to catch the Eagles out there in Kernersville, but that #2 spot, oh so valuable, especially in a league as competitive as this one is. We've seen some of the competitors this year. It's tough as any conference in the state.
Rice, tunnel screen outside. And stepping out of bounds. Okay, so gain of 5 there. I thought Chapman was out of bounds. Instead, he gets 5. We do have a flag, however.
Make it holding on the outside on one of the receivers. It may have been Bailey.
So that negates the 5-yard run. A toss play to the short side of the field. That's very difficult.
Well, it wasn't just a toss either. It was actually an option because Burt Rice started to go out there with it. Defender came up to him, so he pitches it outside to Chaplin. But you're right, you don't have as much space to work with. And sometimes you go that way because you want to surprise the defense. They're kind of think, okay, well, if they run an option, they're going to go towards the wide side of the field, not the boundary. It's exactly what they did there. Just this Reagan defense ready as it ever is.
Now 1st and 20. Rice pass tipped. Great pressure by David Wooward. The junior DB sneaks in there, knocks it down.
And you can see how this defense wants to attack. They want to get into the backfield and shut plays down in a hurry. They know Burt Rice has a bit of an unstable throwing motion, the way the receiver corps has played here as of late. If they can get after him and rattle him early on.
Drop passes have plagued West Forsyth this year, and Adrian Snow is the first to mention it. Here on 2nd and 20. Nice move by Chaplin. He gets the yardage back on the penalty and finagles for 11. So 3rd and 9 upcoming.
I tell you, Evan, I don't know how he does it half the time. The way he's able to operate in such a small amount of space, get upfield, shed tackles, and fall forward to pick up those extra yards, just giving them an opportunity here on 3rd down to face something that's at least mildly manageable with 9 yards to go to pick up the first.
Cayman Chaplin averaging 8 yards a carry this year. Final minute of the first quarter, 3rd and long. Pressure. Rice throws it, nearly picked and rolled incomplete. How about Wooward? 2 big plays on this drive.
Came screaming off the left side of that offensive line that time. Unblocked. Burt Rice had nowhere to go with that football, and almost a careless mistake just trying to throw the football away.
Where's Rice throwing this to?
To Chaplin, it looks like, and just behind him got tipped and almost into the hands of a defender.
Reagan is sniffing blood in the water early defensively. They want the turnovers. Wooward making his presence felt. And the punting unit is on. It's a good punt by Ziggy Malave and a fair catch at the 35. So Reagan's offense last time through an efficient drive, 5 plays, 80 yards. How do they maintain that success on this drive?
Just continue to do what you're doing. Allow Jacob Smith to operate in the pocket, but continue to run well. This offensive line so far has put their stamp on this game from a physicality standpoint. they have taken advantage of West Forsyth up front. They have opened holes. They've allowed Jacob Smith to step into his throws cleanly. It's been a good effort here early on, especially by those 5 guys up front.
1st and 10, great pressure in his face. And Smith is dragged down by every defender on the field. There was an incredible rush at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure how they got in there.
We've seen about 3 or 4 times now that this defense has been able to generate some pressure into the backfield, and that's by bringing overwhelming numbers up front against that offensive line. You've only got so many people to block. Someone's going to get through there and have a chance to make that play.
I mean, Davion Eldridge read the snap so well. He was in the backfield when that ball was in the hands of the quarterback.
Just good get off right there. Good burst to get through the offensive line, slice through there, and then come up with the stop in the backfield.
One of the few negative plays in this first quarter for Reagan. 2 successful drives early. And when we come back, we head to the second quarter. A lot of offense tonight in a 4A league matchup. It's the Reagan Raiders and the West Forsyth Titans. Points aplenty in the first. Let's hope much the same in the second quarter when we come back from Poptown, North Carolina. We're back with tonight's winning row. Everyone in this winning row will receive free tickets to the Carolina Classic Fair all through this weekend, coming up on Sunday, so check it out. The Carolina Classic Fair, riding, rocking, livestock. You a sheep guy, Mark? You more of a cow guy? What do you like for livestock? Starting the second quarter, and a tipped pass. First incompletion of the quarter. That's Caleb David getting his hands on that pass.
Talked about David a little bit earlier, the freak athlete that he is all over the field as a linebacker, sideline to sideline.
How about this, Mark? Caleb David has 100 tackles this year. Here we are in week 6.
Really better than most anything else. He's got a nose for the football. He's going to find where that football is, and he's going to make that play, that tackle, whether it's in coverage, against the run. He is a all-around threat defensively.
And Josh McGee has to scheme around Caleb David on this defense. 2 touchdown drives for Reagan. And here's Jalen Moore. There's David with the tackle, and he draws a holding penalty. What an impact on defense.
I'm telling you. There are just certain guys you have to circle every single week, whether it's on offense or defense. Caleb David is one of them. The opponent is going to look at him and say, how do we neutralize number 10 in green and yellow as much as we can? And it's hard. I mean, when you've got a guy that can run around the field like that, make plays exactly where he's at in coverage, against the run, that's hard. He's a total package at the inside linebacker position, and on top of that, a leader for this defense as well.
Caleb David ranked a top 100 player in the state of North Carolina by multiple blocks. And he's showing it, forcing a 4th down. So that's Reagan's first unsuccessful drive of this game. And our first look at the punter, Connor Berry, the junior. He is not known for an exceptionally deep leg. Well, I call that fire drill a little faster if you're West Forsyth. That rolls out at the 36. I don't know. I feel like special teams is underrated in these games, but I need a little more communication if I'm the punt returner.
Well, yeah, you got to make sure that you're out there as soon as you are thinking, hey, get away from the football, yell Peter, or whatever your call out word is. Just get away from that football. Make sure you don't leave yourself in a position where you can make that mistake. The ball goes right back to Reagan.
First quarter yardage, West Forsyth 146th. Reagan only 119, but 2 touchdown drives. And here are the Titans back to work. Third drive of the night for Burt Rice, the junior quarterback. He throws and caught. Keon Bailey breaks a tackle. He gets 5, second catch for Bailey.
It's a really nice play by Jaleel Rogers in space to go out there and make that tackle on Bailey. Not an easy task, but able to chase him down from behind and trip him up just enough to get him to the ground.
Bailey's touchdown was incredible tonight, escaping 2 or 3 tackles early in the game. Second and a short 5. Chaplin runs right. Chaplin gets a block, spins off another, it's pushed for a first down. Gain of 7 for Chaplin.
You just cannot get him on the turf in that first tackle. It is so hard because he's elusive, he's got that power, but he's also got quick feet. Able to break out of those tackles or just sidestep defenders. It's impressive out of the pistol, bumping it outside. See right there, just cuts back inside. So subtle, it's nothing crazy, but it's subtle enough to make defenders miss.
We have an injured offensive lineman down for West Forsyth, and we do not want to see this. Hope the best for the young man down there. We'll identify his number in just a second. There's a lot of trainers around him. Adrian Snow's training staff led by Lindsay Chiapiopo. And we'll take the timeout and check in on the O-lineman when we come back. A 1 touchdown game here in the second quarter. Thanks for watching here from Pufftown, North Carolina. One of the offensive linemen remains down for West Forsyth. And we told you entering this game, the 2 head coaches have such a dynamic and a relationship. There's Josh McGee and Adrian Snow checking in on the player and maybe catching up on old times, because these 2 have worked together at West Forsyth and they have so much respect for one another.
It's so special. There's so many relationships around the Triad area where you talk about coaches who know each other for such a long time. And occasionally you'll stumble across the ones that have coached together, and one's the apprentice essentially coming up. And that's exactly what Coach McGee is with Coach Snow. Coach Snow, of course, we've seen him several times throughout the years here on Friday Night Rivals, as well as Coach McGee. But the relationship they have is special. Even when you talk to them separately like we did this week, you can kind of tell where the bond is and how strong it is. You even got to catch up with them pregame. You can tell even this is a rivalry. They know it. They're out here to win a football game. But they're still friends. They know exactly who they are and what they bring to the table.
Josh McGee played for Coach Snow in 2001, late 90s, early 2000s. They worked together for 4 years. And now 12 years together as rivals in the conferences. Jalen Morris remains down, the sophomore center for West Forsyth. We certainly hope Jalen's okay as this continues to carry out. Does beg the question mark now with Morris possibly out. Junior Devin Eves, the backup at center. He has not started a game this year. How you fill a big role in that position?
Well, maybe the biggest role along that offensive line, right? You got to understand as a center, you have to point out so many different things defensively. Make sure guys are set up where they need to be, what kind of defense they're in. But most importantly, you got to snap the football, and it's got to get there. And when you're in a live game situation, it's harder. You've got adrenaline pumping through your veins. You've got to make sure you get that snap back first before you even think about moving to someone to block.
Stay tuned for the North Carolina DHHS halftime report. We'll have this week's Scholar Athletes, the participating interviews with the principals, highlights from across the county, and much more. Stay. Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands at Caring Hands Home Health. We do our best to make your loved ones feel like they're being taken care of by our family. I appreciate both teams on a knee, respecting one another, checking in on Jalen Morris, the center, who remains down, and he's being treated by multiple medical staff. Now the stretcher comes out. So we certainly hope and honestly even pray that he continues to be treated tonight and can bounce back quickly.
Well, you know, so many times over the years now, over the last several years, we've seen the game of football change from a player safety standpoint. Just wanting to take better care of these young men as they're coming up and making sure that they're going to be okay. So all precautions will be taken. It's exactly what you want to see from a safety standpoint as the game continues to evolve and step more towards keeping these guys safe when they're out there on the field.
And it's the recognition of the medical staff here to bring on the stretcher, take him to a local hospital tonight and be treated, because there are times where players wouldn't have this type of coverage and attention. And this is important even at the high school level.
And again, that's just about the evolving state of the game and how we're working more to protect these guys because they're out there on the field. It's a dangerous sport. No matter what level you play on, it is a dangerous sport. And you play the game knowing that risk. But again, just having every precaution out there, no matter what it may seem like, just taking care of these guys and making sure that they are okay 100% at the end of the day is always going to be at the forefront.
That's Jalen Morris still down. Trying to even get basic response, or if they have to physically lift him onto the stretcher, which can kind of tell you the state of affairs for the young center. Just a sophomore, Adrian Snow, on a knee, checking in on the coaching staff there. And Adrian, so kind to us this week, talking about his program, and he mentioned it's relationship driven. It's that growing young men and building character, not just wins. And I think this is a great example of how much these coaches care about the student athlete.
Well, and really when you get down to the nitty gritty of the business of sports in general, it's relationship driven. Even for us up here in the booth, to everyone down the field and everyone in between, you got to have good relationships with people. And that's kind of what it comes down to. You know, you talk to Coach Snow, Coach McGee, any of the coaches in the area, they'll tell you about their current players. They'll tell you about their former players, their parents, and everyone in between as well. So just having that relationship and caring about the people that are part of your program.
You see Josh McGee leading a team prayer. I think he understands the moment. Coach Snow there in the middle of your screen is talking to the training staff as they try to physically lift Jalen Morris onto the stretcher. So he's not responsive right now. The EMT staff is there. A lot of these trainers are volunteers. They're college interns at times. Now there's head trainers, but a lot of assistants that are a big part of this. There's Jalen's mom, and she looks on, and it's not a moment you love to see as a parent. Hope the best for the young man as he head to a hospital tonight. You see Coach Snow there holding on to Jalen's mom and consoling her as best he can.
It's a tough situation for anyone. I mean, you got a parent out there on the field concerned about their son. And in Adrian Snow's position, you're trying to do what you can to assure them that everything's okay. But it is a business about relationships. Making sure that you're surrounding yourself with good people.
A reminder, that's Jalen Morris down. And we'll check on Jalen after we come back. Certainly hope the young center's all right. Early in the second quarter, we'll take a timeout.
Yeah, I know, but they always like, when I saw my leave, they like, oh gosh, shit,
Welcome back to Pofftown, North Carolina. A moment of silence continues. And all of our prayers and thoughts looking on to the young sophomore center, Jalen Morris. There are his teammates for West Forsyth. And you see Jalen there being carted off with the help of his coaches and the athletic trainers and the EMTs. We certainly hope the best. He'll head to a local hospital, and we'll give you updates as soon as possible. Yeah, we'll have Rebecca Fiorentino give us an update when she can find something or when we learn, because certainly we want to keep an eye on him. And it could be long. There's his mom cheering on. So just to give you some background on what happened here. He got tripped up and fell on top of there. Now as a player, that mindset switches from a teammate that goes down injured to you have to turn it back on and play football. That's a hard for anyone, regardless if you're 14, 18, or even our ages.
I think throughout sports you always hear, well, you can't really turn the switch on and off between game mode and whatever else, but harder so might be trying to bounce back from an impact like that where you have one of your guys go down, they leave the field like that.
Adrian Snow in his 30th year of high school coaching, and he says doing it for these players is his favorite part, working with the players, interacting with them, and this moment of quick prayer and solace together, I think, shows you that relationship here at West Forsyth.
Again, it's about building those relationships. And Adrian Snow wouldn't be around for 30 years if it wasn't about that, about doing it for the guys that go onto the field and play every Friday night in the fall.
You see Samaj Turner, the defensive lineman, showing his respect.
You got to focus around that. Get your eyes back on the prize here tonight on the field. Find yourself down by 8.
And down a center all of a sudden.
Exactly.
It's the chilling reality of it at times. So the new center is Ethan Krebs. They move the guard over to center. And we'll see how the rest of the line shakes out here on 1st and 10 for Burt Rice. To the ground. Chaplin follows his new center and gets just 3 yards. Nice tackle, Nick Hall, the captain on defense.
The good news was they got some good push up in the middle of the line of scrimmage, changed it, pushed that defensive front back from the inside. Some of those Reagan defenders able to scrape underneath and make the play on Chaplin.
So Devontae Early, the senior, the backup guard, he moves to right guard, and there's the new center, Krebs, who switches over. A little bit of shuffling on this O-line.
I think that's a good idea, though. Get a guy who has already seen the game so far, not just in the past, but tonight as well. Able to maybe handle it a little bit better than coming in cold.
2nd and 8 for midfield. Rice misses his target. That's Hayden McGaha. Drop passes have been a story for West Forsyth. That was catchable there from McGaha.
Yeah, maybe a little high, maybe a little bit too far out to the outside, but able to still get at least one hand on it, maybe two. Yeah, should have been a catch right there. McGaha's got to come down with that football.
Adrian Snow mentioned this week extra passes in practice to find that rhythm with receiver and quarterback. it's been whether the receiver's been off, the quarterback's been off. He found a litany of reasons why this passing game hasn't worked.
And that one right there has got to be on the receiver. Magaha's got to come down with that football because he had room to work with as well. If he makes that catch, he's got at least 5 yards worth of room to work with, and now third down and long would have been a third down and short.
Rice on third down, throws for the sticks, and another drop. Receiver slipped in his route, so fourth down.
Just couldn't complete it that time.
That's Corey Cannon, the intended target.
May have been right there. Looked like a good pass by Rice. Under duress, good throw. All right. Just kind of had his feet go out from under, and Cannon couldn't get there.
So the punting unit, Siggy Malave, the senior linebacker, in to punt. And here's Cassidy Harvin, who had the touchdown back to receive. That ball's nearly blocked. And Harvin, he did touch this ball, brings it out from the 15 and is spun down. That's Will Hayes with the tackle.
I think you realized that he got just a finger on that football and recovered it. So good sense by Harvin to get that football back in his possession and make something out of it.
And we have a flag to complete this play. The flag's back near midfield, so let's see who this is on. Worth noting, Will Hayes, who had the tackle, he's our Scholar Athlete of the Week. Intelligent young man and makes a nice tackle.
Book smarts, football smarts. It all transitions, people.
That's what our broadcast booth is like. Me with the book smarts, you with the broadcast football smarts.
I don't know about that.
Lori Bates, our producer, with the smarts just in general.
The smarts?
Keeping us in tune. Rebecca Fiorentino, the fashion smarts.
Rebecca with the...
I'll give her a ton of credit. She has the jacket that matches the two teams' colors tonight.
Like
I don't know if it was intentional, but it was a heck of a combination.
Exactly.
I don't own those in my closet.
I don't either. Probably because I couldn't pull them off nearly as well.
And that's why Rebecca's the talented one of the three of us here tonight. So Reagan with the holding penalty gets backed up inside its own 10. First and 10 from the 8. How can the true freshman escape this jam?
It's got to start with those big guys up front. That offensive line has to take over.
Smith feeds Moore, skips one tackle. Moore might get it all back. Cuts outside, first down. Moore near the 40. Moore down the sideline. He wants more. Inside his own 10, and Moore takes it to the house. A 92-yard solution for Reagan.
Got to start with the big guys up front. Moore able to follow those blockers and finds a hole to squeak through along the left side of that offensive line. Look at the cutback lane right there. And from there it was the quickness of Moore to get outside, get away from those defenders, pull away, and the straight line speed. Also give credit to blockers down the field. He had a convoy along the side of him. What a run by this Reagan offense.
Well, we asked how could the quarterback escape the jam. We didn't ask how could the running game help him out.
Easiest way is to hand it off to your back and allow your big guys up front to do their job.
And the extra point is tipped but goes through. That's a Riddle Tractor touchdown. Riddle Tractor making tall grass short, making short drives pretty quick there with Jalen Moore on the ground.
5'8", 175. The freshman seems to have a presence on this offense so far. Freshman to hand off to a freshman.
Mark joined the varsity team 2 weeks ago, and now he has his third touchdown of the year.
I'm sure they're pretty glad that they have him in the backfield right now. Just so impressed by the vision to find that cutback lane going from right to left and then accelerating along as he turned the corner.
Mark, that is the longest run for Reagan all season, 92 yards. And I'd be curious if that's the longest play in the state of North Carolina this year.
That'd be close.
Obviously 100 would be the record, but you're right up there with one play and a touchdown.
Again, you can't talk about how impressive the vision was there, but also give credit to the guys up front. Creating that alley for him to run through, allowing him to recognize it and get upfield in a hurry.
They called Jalen Moore Juice as the freshman.
Oh, he's got it.
He's the juicy juice.
He's got the juice.
92 yards. And he's right in the center of attention after that touchdown.
I told you, Evan, if they can get this running game going and show that that 300-yard effort last week was not a fluke against Davie County, they have a chance to make some noise as this season goes along.
Ryder Lawson booms another kickoff deep. Returnable for West Forsyth. Chance to break this open. There's Jordan Stevens out past the 40. And there's an explosive return for the Titans.
A really good effort there. It was all about effort, finding that alley and then squeaking through. Watch Stevens here, look, picking his way down the field, cutting across, finding his blockers. Just really nice return that time.
32-yard return, tripped up by David Woodward. We've said his name a ton tonight.
Yes, very active. Special teams that time defensively has made a few impact plays as well.
So Burt Rice back to work for his West Forsyth offense. 10 of 14 efficient passing in his last game. And that handoff to Chaplin goes nowhere, just a gain of 1. How has Reagan slowed down the running game tonight?
Stacking the box, getting bodies in there. There's only 5 offensive linemen, maybe 6 to 7 blockers. If you load that box up with 7 to 8 guys and just go at them from that standpoint, someone's going to get through. And it's up to them to make that play on Chaplin, get him on the ground. So far tonight, for the most part, they've done just that.
2nd and 9. A screen to Stevens. Creative play call for a first down. Stevens in a Reagan territory, and he's gone. The running game wasn't working, so a 59-yard touchdown breaks it open.
Really love the play design there, too. It was actually looking like it was going to be a swing route out to the left side to Chaplin. The defense flowed that way. Stevens comes back from the left side in the middle of the field and just follows the blockers, and there was no one out there to make that play. No one got a touch of Stevens on his way to the end zone.
That's a Riddle tractor touchdown. He made the tall grass look like quick grass. He was running all over the field. And how about West Forsyth here electing to play for 1 after they went for 2 the first time?
You got to have the confidence that your special team unit is going to find a way to get those blocks down, get the snap back, and get the kick away.
There's the snap, there's the kick, and there's the single point. Good job by Stevens to hold it down. 4th touchdown of the year, and he does it all on this play.
Again, the defense just being sucked away, following Chaplin out to the left side, left a huge vacancy in the middle of the field. Great play design offensively for West Forsyth.
What a smart call by Sean Joyce, the offensive coordinator. He told us this week, we're going to move Jordan Stevens to the slot. He's been explosive in that position.
Yeah, we've seen him make several plays here tonight. Outside of that one even, we've seen him make some nice catches, good catches and runs. He's a playmaker, and you want to get your guys into the open field, allow them to go to work in space with the football in their hands. That's exactly what you do there. Use your biggest offensive playmaker in Chaplin to distract the defense and have Stevens come back where no one is.
3rd touchdown of this game, 50 or more yards between the two teams.
Fireworks.
There's a lot of grass being covered here in Pufftown, North Carolina.
Fireworks. We got a feeling this is going to be a pretty good game. It's West Forsyth team different. Reagan has been picking it up offensively. Thought maybe there would be some points here tonight. And so far, it's proven to be true.
Last year when these teams met, there were no points. 15-9. A couple of field goals, missed extra points. And Adrian Snow told us we have to continue this scoring stretch. 80 points in the last 2 games. That touchdown certainly helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting yourself, again, a chance to stay within this football game. Now down 8 still.
Now can his kicker Morione someone away? Oh, he tries the squib kick onside and fumbled. Loose ball recovered. West Forsyth has it. Scooped up by Will Hayes, the scholar athlete for West Forsyth.
Smart man, hopping on top of that football. The surprise onside kick. Finding that momentum, just trying to pull it away from Reagan, not allow them to get the ball back in their hands. This West Forsyth team diving into the bag of tricks and pulling out the surprise onside.
So Morione with the extra point and a beautiful onside kick. First down carry for Chaplin. He has at least 5. Then goes the wrong direction. And I'm not sure where forward progress marks him, but that's a gain of 4 for Chaplin. Mark, I hate that rule in high school football. Because look at this scrum.
Oh man, oh man.
This is like from longest yard, but they tell the receiver to kick it, and he's doing the prayers before he sends it off. And it creates absolute havoc in midfield.
It's finally worked out.
Adrian Snow with a little smile there for the 30th year coach.
having a little bit of fun here.
He was the assistant when Josh McGee, head coach at Reagan, played and was on staff at Forsyth. Rice steps up and slings a fastball outside for ball 1.
See, that one's going to be on Burt Rice. Just stepped up in the pocket. The beginning of that play does everything right. Senses the pressure on the outside, steps up into the pocket. But he's got to make sure when he steps in that throw, it's got to be exactly where your receiver is. High into the outside, like you said. Ball 1.
That was Cassidy Harvin, the intended target. Rice started this game 5 of 5 passing. It's been up and down since. How does he settle in at the quarterback position?
It's just about finding that rhythm. I think they did a good job early on of giving him some easy throws to make, good opportunities to really roll with. So far, he's been attacking further down the field, which is what you want, but they've got to be on the money.
3rd and 6, Rice tosses. That's fumbled. Scooped up Reagan. And a costly turnover for West Forsyth. That's big 60. Ray Matthews, the senior D lineman, grabbing the football.
This defense read it perfectly. Man to man that time. Had Rice covered and had Chaplin covered. Watch here, running the speed option to the outside. Bad pitch behind Chaplin.
And all the momentum of that onside kick turns right back to Reagan.
Zion Fonts able to make the hit that time on Chaplin.
First down throw and incomplete. Rebecca Fiorentino with more.
Well, guys, after that last touchdown by Reagan, I was over on the West Forsyth sidelines, and Coach Willard brought every single person on the defense over to watch their previous play, saying, you got to be where you're supposed to be. The defense doesn't work if you're not where you're be. Let's stay sharp. We mentioned earlier sharpening that axe.
Rebecca, great point. When you said sharpening, I thought you were going to say B-A-R-B-I-E, be who you want to be. Barbie. I remember from the late 90s. Come on, it's a good advertisement, but great point from Rebecca. West Forsyth can't be overwhelmed with mistakes. They have to focus on themselves.
I can't believe we just had a Barbie spot in this game.
Oh, come on, give me a chance here. As Saunders breaks a tackle, he's got a first down. What a hard runner to bring down. They rule him just short of the sticks after a gain of 9.5.
Yeah, but now it's third short, third very short, about half a yard to go. Because of that run there, Saunders, a tough runner in the middle, just a very quick runner as well. Kind of one of those guys that does the zone running, one cut and upfield. 3rd
and short. Saunders again cuts back inside and is stopped. Good effort by the defense. That's big Caleb LeGrand with the tackle, and J.D. LeGrand.
Saunders had a little bit of room on the right side of the offensive line, just didn't recognize it in time, and got sucked up into where that defense had created a little bit of pressure into the backfield.
A D-line of LeGrand, Benson, and Reed, all seniors, all with FCS or FBS offers. Big defensive line for West Forsyth and D coordinator John McIntosh. Let's see if Reagan calls a timeout here to talk this over. Play clock's at 12. If you're Josh McGee, do you go for it in this spot on 4th and inches?
I think you do, the way your offense has been able to operate tonight, the way they've been able to execute offensively, but I think you go to the air here. Give it to your freshman quarterback. Allow him to go out there and make a throw.
Timeout. Reagan to talk this over. Especially considering the momentum you just got back. If you're Reagan, recover the fumble, move down the field in scoring position. There's analytics about whether you go for it or not in this situation. I think the eye test says you push this in the red zone and try to extend your lead.
And see, analytics will also tell you if you're going to go for it, you need to run the football. But with, you noted, so much talent along that defensive front for West Forsyth, that's not going to be a good idea. More often than not, you're not going to win that fight, especially with the box stacked.
I want to follow Spencer Webb, who has offers from Eastern Michigan, App State, and Charlotte, and the Notre Dame commit Sam Pendleton on that right side of the offensive line.
Absolutely. If you're going to run the football, get it behind your guys who you know have that talent, that game-breaking ability on the offensive line. You want those hosses to be the ones you run behind in these big-time situations.
We talked to Sam Pendleton's father tonight. He has a shirt that says 5 = 1, 5-0 line, doing one job at a time.
That's beautiful.
He played offensive line in college, Mark, so I see you salivating over here.
I'm just going to cry.
So Pendleton, the big body, 6'3", 305, number 72 right there. And the mentor and mentee battling it out on 4th and 1. Purvis comes in motion. Quarterback keeper. He is right at the sticks. And West Forsyth thinks he's short.
Certainly looks like it.
What a stop by this defense.
I gotta tell you, I'm a little surprised. Maybe trying to throw them off a little bit. Jacob Smith keeping the football that time at the quarterback position and trying to do a QB power, but there was nothing there.
What a spin move by Ziggy Malave. He deked the blocker and he got the tackle.
Just getting into the backfield that time.
Kind of Troy Polamalu-esque.
A little bit. Has the hair to match too, right?
So a stop on 4th down. Here's Burt Rice. Inside carry that is going nowhere. Ball loose. Fumble. Reagan. The ruling coming up. What did the line judge see here?
That was close.
I love this. Both teams pleading their case.
That's right.
With Steve Costello, our head referee.
Probably doesn't help that Reagan is right there. It's along their sideline.
Both coaches pointing left, pointing right, begging for a call.
I'm going to say he was down.
Okay, so ruled offensive. He's down. No fumble. Take a look.
Yeah, he's down.
Ooh, I think that ball's starting to come out.
No, his knee's down. You see it right there before that football's pulled out.
The power of instant replay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good call, Mark Covert.
Give credit to Jeremiah Bailey, though, fighting for that football, realizing it was away from the body of Chaplin, trying to rip that football out.
Adrian Snow's club, 2 turnovers in this game already. They can ill afford another mistake. So 2nd and 10, midway through the 2nd quarter. Rice with pressure, lobs it deep. Bailey couldn't find it. Keon Bailey's a threat, but if the quarterback has pressure, hard to find it.
And he doesn't have time to find Bailey down the field. That's the biggest thing right now. They overloaded the left side of the offensive line, brought about 3 guys off the edge that time. Burt Rice just had to get that football away. You see it right here.
That's a missed assignment by Chaplin, too. He has to chip that linebacker.
Absolutely, coming out of the backfield.
Pressure by Jeremiah Bailey sets up 3rd and 10. West Forsyth struggling to throw the football, 1 of their last 8 via the air. So they run it, and back to the line of scrimmage, if that. 4th and long upcoming. And that allows Reagan to load the box and play against the run.
Yeah, absolutely. They be able to get inside, can load up the box and stop the run.
So my apologies. They reset the plays early after that non-fumble call. So now it's 3rd down and long. It should be 4th down. And our statisticians are all over it here in the booth, but the referees have the wrong number. We'll play 3rd down. Beg with us here is a screen pass to Chaplin. Chaplin breaks the tackle. What a break for West Forsyth. Chaplin inside the 40. And he turns what should have been a turnover into a gain of over 50.
Well, I mean, you just went for it on 3rd down, 4th down, whichever down it was, but it still worked out well. Those screen passes have been effective here tonight for West Forsyth. Right here, this time Chaplin is the main attraction. Able to corral that football, bring it in, follow his host of blockers out in front, and use that God-given ability, the speed in the open field, to make a few guys miss, pick up a huge gain.
That's a crescent forward 1st down, regardless of what the down was, 3rd or 4th. That's an impressive play of 40 yards. Chaplin is explosive in his junior year. Goes to the backup tailback, and he has dropped. Isaac Matias, the senior linebacker, on the stop.
Gabe Apkin had a head full of steam that time, running through the hole. But Matthias there to make that stop. That's impressive play. One-on-one with the running back when he's going full speed to bring him down just like that. That is an impressive play.
Matthias, season-high 9 tackles last week in the win over Davie. He anchors this defense with Nick Hall, the captains of the linebacking position.
So stout, so athletic, this linebacking core for Reagan.
Rice on 2nd and 9, a screen pass. There's Stevens. He scored a touchdown on this play earlier. Now he wants a second. He's in. 26-yard score on the screen pass. And what a night for Jordan Stevens.
These screens have been burning Reagan all night long. I mean, they continue to run them. That pressure has not let up. And as long as Reagan is bringing those blitzers and getting more and more Raiders into the backfield, West Forsyth's going to invite that. They're going to allow them to come upfield, and Stevens, Chaplin, they're going to feast on these screen plays.
Even the referee couldn't stop him.
It's really almost an extension of the run game at that point. Just getting them out in front, and you've got blockers.
So I love this
linebackers
decision,
and DBs.
going for 2 and to tie the game at 21 after the Riddle tractor touchdown. There's the Wildcat formation. Caleb David in. Ooh, and a timeout. Reagan calls the timeout. Josh McGee says, I'm just kidding. I don't want it after that snap. I love that reaction from the head coach. He's looking at Adrian Snow saying, you're going to run a 2-point play with a Wildcat QB? And Adrian says, well, now I don't have to.
Well, no less. It was Caleb David at the Wildcat spot, too.
I can read lips. He says, I want it back. I want it back. Because that snap would not have worked. After a 6-play, 69-yard drive. That's a nice drive in 2 minutes.
It sure is. And to think, again, the way that they're scheming it right now, those screens, you're getting all those defensive linemen and some of the linebackers, whoever's blitzing, getting them upfield and away from the play. It's that many less people you have to stop.
This is a lot of yak for Jordan Stevens.
I think there's 1 guy, 2 guy, 3, 4. So you essentially had 7 guys on a blitz, only 4 guys to protect, and 5 offensive linemen.
Kyle Shanahan's made a living with this for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
Yak bros. Well, Stevens is Yak 1 and Yak 2. He's doing it all tonight.
It's the perfect way to neutralize any sort of blitz. So when you've all those defenders making their way into the backfield, throw those quick passes.
Keep an eye on the snap in this situation. Backup center in Ethan Krebs after the injury to Jalen Morris earlier this quarter. And a chance to tie it here on a 2-point conversion.
Still Caleb David.
David runs right. David lowers his shoulder, and he's short. No good. Still a 2-point game.
And what a stop. Looked like David wanted to go up over the top that time, dive into the end zone, but this defense did not allow him to do it. Credit the special teams unit of Reagan getting out there and making that play.
And Caleb David's a big dude. If you're going to bring him down, you need a body to bring him.
So big and fast. Watch, he wanted to go up.
Oh, and it's Samaj in there. The Duke commit with the tackle. One-handed by Ed did that.
No less, right. Allowed some of his guys to get over there. Help him out and make that stop. That's a heck of a play, shedding the block and making the tackle on Caleb David.
Mark, you mentioned Jordan Stevens being explosive. 4 catches, 104 yards tonight.
They're good.
Largely on screenplay.
But that's what's worked. I mean, that's exactly what they needed to do here. Reagan's going to continue to blitz, dare them now to continue to do that. They may have to start sitting back.
Yeah, what adjustment do you make if you're D coordinator for Reagan?
It's kind of an uphill battle, right? Because if you decide you want to sit back, then you're giving Chaplin in that running game more room to work with as well. Burt Rice may have more time to throw the football down the field. It's a double-edged sword. And I think it's one of those things as a philosophy. If you're going to blitz, you live by it and you die by it. I don't expect Reagan to start dropping back now. They're going to keep applying that pressure and dare this North or West Forsyth offense to make plays.
What a beautiful shot of Morione sending a booming kick into the end zone. And think about the momentum swings in this half. Onside kick recovery, fumble, turnover, another defensive stop, and then a march down the field for a nearly game-tying touchdown.
Momentum swings like a pendulum, right? Just back and forth right now, and Reagan suddenly finds itself on the back end of all of it. They had all the momentum on their side. Long touchdown drives, long touchdown plays, and now clinging to a 2-point lead.
Mark, stay tuned for the North Carolina DHHS halftime report. We'll have this week's Scholar Athletes, interviews with the principals, highlights from across the county, and more. Freshman quarterback Jacob Smith back to work, 1st and 10. A delayed throw that is dropped. A little confusion on that route with William Tapp.
I wonder if it was confusion or maybe Smith was trying to guide him a little bit more up towards the further side of the field, get him upfield a little bit more because his shoulders.
He did sort of point him left,
yeah,
right?
He did. His shoulders were pointed a little flatter, and then he turned them a little bit, trying to signal him to go upfield.
Raider Nation, let's ride. Let's ride on the back of the true freshman quarterback who already has an offer to play baseball at NC State. And to think his baseball career has not even started yet at the high school ranks. Play action. There's a nice route, but a drop. So 2 straight incompletions, that time from Nazir Blackman.
This passing offense was so good early on. Now it seems to have cooled off significantly. A couple of drops in the last 2 plays.
This is not on the quarterback, however.
No, it is not. It's a good tight throw to the outside. Blackman's got to come down with that football. Smith knows it.
The presence of Jacob Smith, as head coach Josh McGee said, he's built for this program since a young age. Here's a tunnel route, broken tackle, first down Reagan. And maybe a horse collar tackle as well. Jalen Moore, and he wants the flag, and he gets it. Pressing forward, first down.
This kid, Jalen Moore, is impressive in the open field, isn't he? You give him just a crevice to run through, and he's going to take it and burst through. Watch this. Again, bounces back to the backside. Good vision, breaking a tackle, and then again the speed.
Breaking 3 tackles, and then dragged to the ground by Will Hayes, our scholar athlete for West Forsyth tonight. He has a great handshake coming up with Rebecca Fiorentino at halftime. Keep an eye out for that.
Is that a tease for
And Rebecca
halftime?
Moore on Hayes?
Yeah, guys, well, hey, Jacob Smith, he's no stranger to Reagan football. His older siblings have come through Reagan High School. Jacob's been around the program since he was 6 years old as the ball boy. So everyone knew who he was prior to stepping foot on the field. So from ball boy to starting quarterback with the team he grew up around.
Neat story, Rebecca, especially with his family growing up in this area. There's a handoff to Moore. Sneaks outside and follows the lead of his freshman quarterback. There's the freshman tailback for 10 yards.
Again, finding that room to work with, just getting outside. An easy handoff that time. He's been really impressive here tonight. His vision has been the most impressive thing. He can run, but able to find those holes even when they're not on the normal running track. Making those cutbacks, that's impressive.
3 minutes to play in this first half. Reagan looking to extend its lead. And some movement before the non-snap. That'll be 5 yards on Reagan. Speaking of ball boys, there's some of the young kids looking to grow up like Jacob Smith. He was the 3rd sibling to play here at Reagan High School. Reagan, that was founded in 2005 as the county continued to grow in population, adding another high school. Maybe one of its best quarterbacks, true freshman. Here on 2nd and 6, hands off to Moore. Moore sneaks up the outside and has the first down. It takes 4 defenders to tackle him after a gain of almost 12 yards.
He's only been doing this for 3 weeks. I mean, he looks like a natural. Good job by that offensive line getting some push up front, but Moore's so quick to get to the line. See right there, running away, finding that hole opened up by those big guys again.
Jalen Moore had 192 yards last week to complement Saunders with over 100 yards. That's a dynamic duo.
It's a dangerous duo.
Moore remains in the game on 1st and 10. He totes the rock, now spins away and loses the football. Malave has the recovery, and West Forsyth with a huge stop.
I mean, who wants the momentum right now? It just seems like both defenses are having a field day. Taking this football away, Malave comes up with a huge stop to strip. Moore tried to reverse field that time, but Malave got there, got a hand on the football, and recovered.
We told you Reagan had 0 fumbles entering this game. That's their 2nd. Caleb David poked it loose. And then Malave found it in his wickets.
So the 2 linebackers, the presence right there, getting there. David, so instinctive, putting a hand on the football to knock it out. Malave, Johnny on the spot, recovering that fumble.
And a little bit of chipping between both clubs. They had some conversation. And there's Jalen Moore. He's really gripping those hands tight. He might have had a stinger there. I want to thank the athletic training staff here for Reagan, keeping eyes on him. Emily Dyer, the lead trainer. But then after the play mark, you see the 2 head coaches yapping at each other because their benches started to have a conversation on the West Forsyth side. Could you call offsetting penalties here?
You could, but normally if you're going to be on someone's sideline, more often than not, it's going to go against the visitor to that sideline, so to speak. I'm telling you.
Be a big penalty if it goes on Reagan here.
You want a rivalry game? We've got one here.
Two clubs that have met in the 18 and 19 playoffs, eliminating each other. Now they try to fight for that second spot in the 4A West Conference. Here comes the call from Steve Costello, who's been a busy man tonight.
They've handled it well, though. For all the chaos, the penalties that have done, they seem like all solid calls so far. This officiating crew is in mid-season form.
So the foul is on Reagan. That's a big call. The initiators of the issue. And another flag. Oh my gosh, Reagan just argued the call, and that's a big presence in there. That's Turner.
Or Turner just took his helmet off, too.
So there's Samaj Turner talking to the opposing bench.
He's running over there.
Oh, wait a second. So his teammate comes in to save the day. Zeke Matias. And now, how about Adrian Snow bringing his whole team together to talk through this moment?
Yeah, rivalry or not, you got to make sure that,
because keeping your cool is
yes,
a big part of this moment.
Exactly. So calmer heads will prevail.
So after 3 unsportsmanlike penalties, the ball gets moved to the 35-yard line. When one play prior, it was Reagan football nearing the 30 of West Forsyth.
And they were marching. It took about 3 or 4 runs for them to get to that point.
Now, to our knowledge, Turner has not been ejected from the game, just an unsportsmanlike. But he needs to be careful here. Issued a taunting warning and an unsportsmanlike penalty.
I just wonder what was said.
Well, he ran into the opposing bench.
That's exactly. So, me oh my.
Great field position for Burt Rice with 2:16 to go in this half. Rice feeds Chaplin. Chaplin takes the pile and turns nothing into 5.
And from a field standpoint, there's a.
So he has a pink. Is it a pink towel? So it's one of his towels.
Either one of his or someone else's.
But so he ran into the opposing bench to grab a towel. Now we have an offensive lineman down for Reagan here. It's been a night where we remind you how important athletic trainers are and their presence. Continue to keep our thoughts with some of these men down there. Athletic training staff for Reagan led by Emily Dyer, and she has plenty of help on the sideline there. Unfortunately, we had this conversation earlier this quarter, Mark, but it certainly comes full circle when it can happen to anybody, any team, at any moment.
Time. Right, exactly. And that's what makes the athletic groups here, the athletic trainers and what they do so important to high school athletics, that really athletics at any level, professional, college, high school, the whole way down. They are very much appreciated.
We've had a turnover-filled, high-scoring first half. A couple of penalties, a couple of players escorted off the field for altercations. And we still have at least 26 minutes to play, if not more tonight.
We've had it all.
Given the light of some of the NFL conversation this week about concussion and spinal cord protocol, I think this is important to really take precautions with these players. I told you earlier that the center for West Forsyth, Jalen Morris, he was escorted to the hospital. Haven't heard any updates yet, but certainly praying for him as he hopes to be starting to get traded here soon. the offensive lineman down for Reagan. We want to verify the number before we tell you, just to be sure. Or for West Forsyth, actually, on the defensive side. My apologies. There's Adrian Snow.
Get into these rivalry games, sometimes things intensify. Hits come a little harder. It's just a little more difficult sometimes.
Never helps when you're on the ground. You see 10 or 12 people around you. Can make you nervous. You know?
Right, well, flying around, right? Exactly. When you're in a live situation like that, it's tough.
See Adrian Snow, who's had some hard conversations tonight. Health related, sideline related, focus related. He's checked a lot of boxes in terms of guiding this young group.
I think if you ever have a conversation with Coach Snow, you understand that he is a man who can thoroughly check off all those boxes as well.
So good news, the young man's back to his feet. That's Devontae Early. Early was the backup guard who came in for the injured Morris just a few minutes ago. So I'd be curious how the depth chart unfolds the rest of the way for West Forsyth. Okay, a lot of conversation. Anthony Ponce goes into left guard.
And then you got to talk about the shuffling of the offensive line. Position group that's so crucial, like you said, with the shirt 5 equals 1. And to get them all on the same page here early so they can move as one and continue to be effective. 2nd and 5, they run the football. And a nice haul for Chaplin, who's got the first down and churns inside the 20. Big gain on 2nd down. I'm telling you, the way that his legs just continue to move, even if he's being tackled to the ground. I mean, he's hunched over on the back end of that play and still picks up an extra 4 or 5 yards after that contact. I mean, just look at that. That's a crescent forward first down. Chaplin escapes another tackle and creates 5 yards out of what should have been nothing. Crescent Ford, check out the newest trucks at crescentford.com. Cayman Chaplin, he's like a Hummer. He just rolls through the backfield. Yeah, and I can't just help but think about the conversation we had with Coach Snow a few weeks ago before their game against Mount Tabor, and how they kind of said they didn't really know what they were going to get out of Chaplin coming into this season. Now he's become an absolute workhorse for this offense, the focal point for everything that they do. And we have another injured player, this time for Reagan down. That's Cooper Jackson, the defensive lineman. You do wonder. Hope these players are healthy and all right. So, Mark, we told you this game's had some sloppy plays early. How about the defense of Reagan with the blocked field goal, which could be the game-winning kick? And an incompletion there. Now the fumble. And this is where things got sloppy back and forth. Yeah, absolutely. Just an exchange of turnovers. You see Moore, who's been so good tonight, just trying to do a little bit too much on that play. Malave scooped up that fumble. Then Turner went to the bench. He wanted a towel back for Pink Knight. And I think that was Moore's towel as well, just trying to get it back to him. Now, again, we don't know what conversations are being had down there. But again, with a rivalry where these two schools are so close to each other. Just 7 miles apart. I mean, you expect fireworks. These guys know each other. It's not just like some of the other ones where you see, well, Kernersville versus Winston-Salem. No, these guys are right in each other's backyards. They know each other. They grew up with each other. In the same county, in the same league, have met in the playoffs 2 out of the last 5 years. So there's postseason history. A rivalry that Adrian Snow told us this week at times has been non-competitive, but when both teams are good, it's one of his favorite matchups. Oh, it's one of the state's favorite matchups. You got to talk about it whenever you say Reagan, West Forsyth, and you know they're good in that particular year. You're going to have a good football game on your hands. Both teams are 2-1 in league play. Chasing right now the darlings of North Carolina football, East Forsyth, undefeated. They may run the table the rest of the way. Trying to dethrone Cardinal Gibbons as the reigning 4A state champions out of Raleigh. Cardinal Gibbons and Central Catholic, 2 of the elite Catholic high schools in the state, top 10 in 4A football. Rice feeds Chaplin. He keeps churning those legs.
And he might push the pile for a first down. Moving towards the end zone. And he's down to the 3. What a run by Chaplin.
Man, the way that this offense rallied around that pile as well and continued to push Cayman Chaplin down the field. Watch this. The feet continue to drive, but you can see all his guys in front of him pushing, moving that pile. What an effort by the entire West Forsyth offense.
First and goal with a timeout. And I believe Reagan called timeout. We have a whistle as well. With a flag here, in fact. Ooh, offsides on the defense.
And first down just became a little bit shorter, go half distance to the goal.
You go from the 3 to about the 1.5. And the way Chaplin's running, he might get the ball the next 3 carries.
Got to get penetration up front. You have to have defenders slicing through that offensive line. Not around it, but they have to get through it and get penetration right up the middle.
Mark, the clock's running. West Forsyth has to move here with 35 seconds left. Rice feeds Chaplin. Breaks another tackle for the touchdown. That drive was fueled by Cayman Chaplin and his beefy offensive line.
Really just give it to those guys up front, moving that defensive front backwards of Reagan and allowing Chaplin to get into the end zone with ease that time. And now everything has come full circle, and this West Forsyth offense is humming, and they have taken the lead in this ball game.
5 plays, 65 yards, and that was hard-earned running for West Forsyth.
They just sealed it off, created kind of a wall.
That was a Riddle Tractor touchdown. Riddle Tractor making tall grass short. And the grass inside the red zone is that nice lush green grass. We have a whistle here before the extra point. If this is on the defense, do you go for 2? Well, it's actually on the offense, so forget my question.
No, I don't think you go for 2.
Smart. Keep in mind, West Forsyth down 2 offensive linemen in this first half.
And still have been able to maintain a pace that's been almost frantic the way that they've run the football. You've got to give credit to those guys coming in, stepping in, the next man up mentality. This offensive line is still doing just as well.
Cale Vest, the new snapper, puts it to a good spot, but the kick goes right. Morion with the miss, and he made the previous kick. So now will special teams be a factor for West Forsyth?
Well, that time it was on Morion. The snap was down, everything was totally fine with it. Just a bad kick that time, pushing it to the far side. Now remember, 31 seconds left. This is an offense for Reagan that can strike real fast.
And Josh McGee, what is he asking the head referee here? There's a lot of conversation going on.
He's been talking to him pretty much all night long at this point. These officials have been active here in the first half, as you mentioned, Evan.
Rebecca told us in the pregame that Josh and Adrian Snow have not talked all week. Well, Steve Costello has talked to both head coaches all night. He's the intermediary between the two. Can't wait for Rebecca's halftime interviews. These are 2 fired up coaches.
Absolutely. In a game that's been as entertaining as any we've had so far this season as well, especially here in the first half.
Well, Mark, it's the final week of the Carolina Classic Fair coming up on Sunday, so you might as well have some fun along the way.
This is true.
Deep fried Oreos is my preference.
Yes, sir.
And with that, we get back to football.
Yeah, you can't beat a good old fun kick.
Morion, after missing the extra point, to send this away. That's a pretty good kick. 5 yards deep into the end zone. 1 timeout for Reagan. How do you play this with 31 seconds left?
I think you can still take your shots down the field. You still have that 1 timeout, but of course you can work the sidelines a little bit. Talked about some of the arm talent that Jacob Smith has, so he can get that football down the field and in a hurry. It's about finding those defenders in bad spots, getting your guys open in the secondary.
Reagan led 21-6 early. This game has changed in the blink of an eye. 3 straight touchdowns for West Forsyth, all in the second quarter. Smith changes the play on 1st and 10. Gives it to Saunders. He's got a gaping hole. Saunders down the sideline to midfield. And an explosive play with 22 seconds left.
Well, right there, the explosiveness of Saunders. Talking about Smith doing it. No more in the game right now, but Saunders making an appearance in the backfield and picking up a huge gain there on 1st down. They're now in plus territory.
Crescent Ford 1st down, by the way. Gain of 33 yards. One timeout for Reagan, nearing midfield. Saunders again. Nice hole to the 41. Timeout Reagan.
Just trying to test that defense a little bit. Now, no
first
timeouts.
down will stop the clock, however.
Yes, it will, but that means you also have to get up to the football and spike it. You'll use about 3 seconds.
We asked the coaching staff this week, Josh McGee, what's the field goal range for Ryder Lawson? He said 47 and in. So they have to get to about the 30-yard line to give them a chance.
And we've seen that leg already on those kickoff attempts. Now a little bit different. You don't have the running start you do on a kickoff. But they can take their shots now.
15 seconds, that probably gives you 2 plays.
You have to still work the sidelines. You can get a nice little pass here, maybe over the middle, because like you said, the clock will stop and reset the chains. But you're going to take about usually 3 to 4 seconds off the clock just spiking that football.
What a half for Jacob Smith. He has slung the football around. Each team nearing 300 total yards. It has been fun to watch in this half. "15 seconds to play for Jacob Smith. Play action. Smith slings it. First down catch, but the clock stops. 10 seconds on the completion of Mekhi Purvis. Have to spike this quickly. 10 seconds left. Clock starts when the chain's set.
So how about
and the clock's
7
moving.
seconds left?
Got to move here. 6 seconds, and that stops the clock. We told you the field goal range is 47 yards, and this will be tested here with Ryder Lawson.
I wonder if they'll try to go for one more play out to the sideline.
Oh, 5 seconds. You got to kick here, don't you? I don't care how efficient you are. You have to kick the field goal.
The only way you end up doing that is if you work along that West Forsyth sideline, because that's the short side of the field. You get that ball out quickly.
So Josh McGee having a conversation, and the play clock's down to 30. Reagan does not have a timeout. So I'm not sure what Josh McGee's thinking here. Well, they got to rush the kicker out with 20 seconds.
Taking their time.
Nothing more nerve-wracking as a kicker than being rushed onto the field.
No kidding. Now there's about 10 seconds left on the play clock at that.
Ryder Lawson 3 of 5 on field goals this year. His season long is 38. This is from 40, and it's blocked. West Forsyth, 2 field goal blocks. That ends the first half.
Well, that kick was going to be long. It had to be a little lower. Lawson didn't really have a chance there. A swarming effort on special teams to end the first half for the Titans.
West Forsyth down 21-6 with 9 minutes left, and they block a kick to maintain the lead.
May have been Malave again. He's fired up. He's been all over the field tonight. Coming out the far side. No, it wasn't him.
That was a header. I believe that was Keon Bailey. Or no, sorry. That's Davier Eldridge, the backup quarterback, with the block kick. And how about this? The emotion of the block kick, the excitement of the special teams play. His team had trailed by 2 touchdowns for much of the first half. And we go down with Rebecca Fiorentina with head coach Adrian Snow.
I'm going to ask on TV. I'm going to make it happen. What'd you do?
I sprained my ankle playing soccer. We got to ask about you guys now. You guys have a couple injuries yourself, but at one point in this game, it was 21-6. What changed?
I kept emotionally, kept playing, doing what we needed to do. It's emotional games, always is. We know each other too well, and it just becomes, sometimes just gets exciting. But right now, we got to do what we got to do.
You talked this week about momentum and how important it is for your team and how it's a big deal. Big momentum swing going into the half. How do you maintain it?
Well, you got to maintain it. The biggest thing, you can't get too high and you can't be too low. And you just got to try to control yourself best you can.
You asked me about my injury. Now I got to ask about your players' injuries and how do you get that depth involved with your team?
Next man up.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian Snow with some inspiring words for his injury-riddled team that's overcome a 2-touchdown deficit. What a first half of offense, 25-21, and we have 24 minutes to play. Stick around here in North Carolina. We got plenty of football for our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week.
inductees into the Reagan High School Hall of Fame. Our first 2022 inductee into the Reagan High School Hall of Fame is 2014 graduate Jasmine Adams, escorted by her parents David Adams and Renee Adams, and Reagan varsity women's basketball coach Eric Rader. Jasmine was a 4-year starter on the varsity women's basketball team and was the first RHS female basketball player to surpass the 1,000-point mark and finished her career with 1,505 points. She's a 4-time All-Northwest Clutch, 3-time All-Piedmont 4A, and an All-District selection in 2013-14. After Reagan, she played at Coastal Carolina. She is currently the youth basketball coordinator for the Denver Nuggets. Jasmine Adams. Our next inductee into the RHS Hall of Fame is 2013 graduate Caleb Anthony, escorted by his wife Katrina Anthony and his parents Bertha and Tyrone Anthony. Caleb was a 4-year member of the men's basketball team, serving as a captain during his junior and senior years. He was a 2-year starter and finished his career with 771 points. He was also a member of the football and track teams, as well as being involved with NHS and the Spanish Club. He received a full academic scholarship to UNC Chapel Hill. After college, Caleb took a position as campus director of
Throughout the 2022 Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals season, Bojangles will recognize an exceptional senior student athlete from each participating school with a plaque presentation prior to each game. This week's Bojangles Scholar athletes are from Reagan High School, Bryce Bastian. Reagan's Bryce Bastian is co-captain of the Raiderettes dance team and was selected for All-County Dance this fall. She is on the National Honor Society, the Dance National Honor Society, the Math National Honor Society, and the Latin National Honor Society. In Bryce's spare time, she serves her community by volunteering at local soup kitchens. And from West Forsyth High School, Will Hayes. West Forsyth's Will Hayes is a 2-time varsity starter and a captain of the football team. He is also a starter on the varsity lacrosse team. He is in the West Forsyth Men's Service Club and enrolled in multiple AP and honor classes. In Will's spare time, he enjoys being a servant neighbor in his neighborhood by dog sitting or assisting in yard chores. Bryce, Will, and other nominated students are also eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season, courtesy of Bojangles. Bojangles proudly gives back to our community and is honored to be the sponsor of the Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete Award.
Well, if you're looking for a rivalry matchup, we found one just for you. Welcome back. I'm Rebecca Fiorentino, now joined by West Forsyth's principal, Kevin Spainhour. And what a first half of play we've had here today. What's your thoughts on the first half of play?
Well, one, it's been a long first half, but it's been a great atmosphere. It's a great night for Friday night football. I mean, and the Reagan-West Forsyth game's always a great matchup. Our kids, hang out together a lot. Our students know each other a lot, so there's always a nice rivalry there. So it's been a great night. Our kids are continuing to battle, even though we're a little bit of the underdog, so we're excited.
Well, right now we're witnessing the Hall of Fame ceremony for the Raiders. What can you tell us about your Hall of Fame?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So West Forsyth is starting our Hall of Fame. We are opening up nominations that can be found on our website. This is the first time West Forsyth's ever had a Hall of Fame. It's a school that was built in 1964. So we've had some tremendous tradition and some tremendous athletes that have come through. So we're really excited about getting an opportunity to celebrate them. It will be the first class will be inducted in the fall of 23.
So if someone is looking to nominate someone, what is your recommendation to getting their name out there?
Excellent. So yeah, if you are nominating or interested in nominating somebody, then we recommend going to our website. Is it a digital nomination? There's also information where you can contact our athletic director. If maybe you're not as technology savvy to do it online, you can do it through our athletic director, Mike Pennington, who does a great job. So that would be my recommendation.
All right, well, we're looking forward to your Hall of Fame ceremony. Thanks for taking the time. We'll go to break here, and when we return, we'll have the NCDHHS halftime report. Thanks for sticking with us.
Nick's legacy lives on as he is the namesake for the annual 2-mile race that takes place on Reagan's campus. The new Balance Dash Boston Pat felt special. He made such a strong impression on the student body that one art student even made him the subject of an award-winning portrait that is now part of his personal art collection. Mr. Johnson currently lives in Clemens, NC with his wife Shirley and is enjoying his retirement to the fullest. Mr. Richard B. Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, on your feet for the 2022 Hall of Fame class of Reagan High School.
So unfortunately, COVID-19 is still in our communities. We're seeing it spread, and we know that children and adults are vulnerable to getting COVID-19, and in some cases getting really sick from COVID-19. As the weather cools this fall, we also know that people are going to be more likely to get together indoors. And whenever we're indoors together, it also means that we're at higher risk for spreading or catching COVID-19. This is why it's so important to stay up to date on your COVID-19 vaccines and boosters for yourselves and for your children. We really are wanting to make sure that families have the information they need about COVID-19 vaccines and boosters. That's why we've launched our Know Before You Go campaign. We're really excited to have so many schools and local health departments and other community-based organizations who have joined us in the statewide campaign so that we can get that information about both the COVID-19 vaccines as well as other vaccines that your children should be getting, which are just their routine vaccines. We also want to remind people about their rights when it comes to getting vaccines, as well as getting tested and treated for COVID-19. It's important to know that not every vaccinating provider is going to have the vaccines for the younger children, and so please call before you go to make sure that they have that vaccine available. Parents can go to myspot.nc.gov to find more information about the vaccines, and importantly, find a location where you can get your child vaccinated, as well as the rest of your family members.
You're watching the NCDHHS Halftime Report, and we've been talking all season long about the Carolina Classic Fair. We're joined now by Aiden and Haley, who are about to participate in the pretzel stacking contest. We'll give them their start. On your mark, get set, and go. This contest is hosted by the Carolina Classic Fair. Giant pretzels are one of everyone's favorite fair foods. I know it is for me, and there are so many more fun, exciting new foods at the fair this year. The Carolina Classic Fair is in its 140th year and is held at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, going on now through this Sunday. There'll be the ride-in, rockin', livestockin' with the same fair traditions, along with new entertainment and attractions. This weekend, their promotional ride discounts feature Winston-Salem Journal Family Fun Days, where kids 7 and under can ride all Straits Shows Kiddie Land rides for $20. The fair also welcomes returning entertainment, including the rodeo, demolition derby, local music performances at the Clock Tower stage, and more. Looks like we've got our winner. Haley is our winner of our pretzel stacking contest. Congratulations to Haley. Visit carolinaclassicfair.com and download their app for updates. Go check them out before it's too late. Stay with us on our halftime report. Next, we'll have Brad Royal, the principal for Reagan, on. Stay here.
How do you Yeah, then pivot away. Go this way.
All right.
So where am I standing? Right here?
Yeah. Were you?
Changing ceiling.
Just a
In
little.
the background. No, I'm the principal. We had 6 new.
This is just a reminder to stick around after the game for the post-game performance by your man of Raiders. Also, please stick around for the Carolina Classic Fair Trophy presentation at the end of the game presented by the Carolina Classic Friday Night Rivals. Tonight's halftime festivities are brought to you by Cermak and Hansen Orthodontics. Dr. Cermak and Hansen serving our community of St. Louis.
Welcome back to Poptown, North Carolina. We are joined now by the king of Poptown himself, Mr. Brad Royal, the principal for Reagan. You guys just had your Hall of Fame night. This is the Hall of Fame game. Can you tell us a little bit more about who was inducted and how much of an honor it is to have them here today?
So thank you, Rebecca, for joining us tonight. And thank you guys for filming our game. We really love it when you guys come out. Our Hall of Fame is such an honor to be able to take a few moments to say thank you to those former students, former staff members, former volunteers who've given so much back to our community. They are really what makes our community of Poptown so special. We inducted 6 amazing Raiders tonight and just couldn't be more proud of every one of them.
A lot to be proud of, not only of your Hall of Fame and former players, but some of your current players as well, with some of them going off to school with really great academic programs. You guys were just recently ranked 41st in the state. What can you tell us about the academics that this school also provides?
Well, thank you. We first and foremost, that's the purpose of school, is to make sure that, you know, our kids are getting the academic preparation that they need to be able to go to whatever schools it is that they want to go to. And, you know, that 41st ranking is very special to us. It's a measure of your overall academics. You know, we have an extremely great graduation rate. We got over 95% of our kids graduating on time, and 90% of them go off to college. And, you know, you talked about some of our kids going to some amazing academic institutions. We're just blessed here. We have kids that get it, parents who support them and support the school, and we have the best staff that you can run into.
Well, putting the student and student athlete, I want to give you a chance to boast about your football program here and what makes you so proud to have them part of this school.
Well, you know, they're just absolutely great young men. They come out here, they give it their heart and soul every night. They're just so amazing in the classroom. They're leaders in our building. They really take that seriously. We had 2 youngsters today to go to an elementary school and to read with kindergartners at one of our local elementary schools. They're just special kids. We're so fortunate to be able to have kids like that here at Reagan.
Well, you heard it here first, the king of Poptown, Mr. Brad, dressed up just specifically for this interview. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us. Guys, we'll send it back to you in the booth.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, Mr. Principal. We always appreciate the big-time individuals who make these schools happen. Mark, a 4-point game at halftime, and I tell you what, these highlights are hectic. They're helter-skelter, a lot of big, explosive plays that kick-started this night.
Yeah, and it really started off with Reagan firing on all cylinders to start the game. I mean, they came out rocking and rolling.
On the very next play, Chaplin answered.
And that's exactly kind of where it seemed like maybe the tide was going to start to turn. And West Forsyth's favor.
We got a block kick late in the first quarter. That was the story for both teams.
And just sloppy play. For as much explosive plays as we saw in the first half, there was just as much sloppiness from both sides as well, not taking care of the football.
Some butterfingers here on this fumble. And that actually started a brawl at the end of this play. But it led to a Chaplin touchdown, his second of the night. Came in a big first half, 127 yards on the ground. And then late in the half, this was a blocked field goal to end the first half. West Forsyth, who lost 2 offensive linemen due to injury. They showed a lot of toughness, Mark, and now have the lead down 21-6. What a resolve from the road team tonight.
Well, and that's really kind of what you look at is those events, those injuries, those moments can either galvanize the team, bring them together, or really hurt them. And it seems like for the Titans, it allowed them to rally around it and use it as a spark of motivation.
619 yards in the first half. That's not a game. That's the first 2 quarters.
And really, you can look at it passing-wise, 182 yards for that offense of West Forsyth, something that we were looking to see if they could correct as the season works along. And then on the other side for Reagan, those 225 rushing yards, known for a kind of air raid style offense, but they've been running wild.
These teams watched our open and flipped the script. West Forsyth slinging the rock around, and Reagan's pounding the ball with the excellent tailback in Zion Sanders.
Absolutely, and it's like you said, they've kind of flipped the script, but don't sleep on the sides that we talked about in the open. Throwing the football is pivotal for this Reagan offense, and running it behind Chaplin for the West Forsyth Titans offense is pivotal just as well.
True freshman quarterback, 6 of 10 for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns, and a couple of those were drops against him. Burt Rice, 8 of 14, but a season best, 182 yards through the air. How has Burt Rice been so successful?
It's been those screen plays, and they've taken advantage of the aggressiveness that Reagan has had defensively, sending blitzers, getting guys into the backfield, allowing them to get upfield and taking advantage with the screens, the quick passes, allowing their ball carriers, whether they be wide receivers or running backs, to get out with a convoy of offensive linemen in front of them.
Last year when these teams met, it was a 15-9 game. There was 2 touchdowns on that night.
A little bit different.
We have had 2 touchdowns of 60 or more yards tonight, including a 92-yard score for Reagan.
It's just been that explosiveness that's made such a difference in this game.
It's been that explosive that every player in West Forsyth says, well, I can throw the ball and you can throw the ball and we can tag team it up.
It's exactly what it's been.
619 total yards, Mark Covert.
It's bonkers.
How do these defenses make the adjustment in the second half?
Well, we talked kind of about Reagan towards the end of the first half. Do they kind of dial it back with the blitzes? I don't know if you do. You kind of live and die by what you do defensively, especially when you're as aggressive as this Raiders defense is. I think they continue to just hum along, do their same thing, blitz, and hope those guys get home. As for West Forsyth, it's going to be about shutting down that rushing attack, something that they would all know all too well throughout practicing in the week against their own offense. They've got to stop these running backs, Saunders and Moore, from running wild into the secondary.
If you're John McIntosh, the West Forsyth D coordinator, or if you're head coach Richard Burton, D coordinator Richard Burton, what a stressful halftime meeting, finding any way to corral his team and slow things down. In a couple of minutes, Coach McGee's coming down. He'll talk to Rebecca Fiorentino, and I'm curious how he answers the question about his defense.
Well, it's going to be, again, just living and dying by it. One of those things is the fact that you can't just let up on your game plan because it hasn't been super successful in the first half. If it's exactly what your defense is predicated on, that's rushing the passer, getting into those lanes and disrupting plays before they get started in the opposing backfield, you got to stick to that. That's exactly what your game plan is defensively. You have to stick to that.
Adrian Snow's note at halftime was the next man up, overcoming 2 critical injuries on the offensive line. And for more with the opposing squad, Josh McGee, we go down to Rebecca Fiorentino.
Thanks so much, guys. Well, a high-scoring first half. It seems like a game of who wants the momentum more. What's your thoughts on the first half of play?
Yeah, I think we gave them a little bit of momentum. We lost our composure a little bit in the last 6 minutes, and that's something we've got to do a better job of. But, you know, we've still done some really good things on both sides of the ball. We just got to kind of keep our composure a little bit.
And what about on defense? What adjustments would you like to see on defense to stop their run game?
Yeah, I just think it's fundamentals. It's not tackling. It's, you know, trying to play a little man, and we're losing our man. So small things that can be fixed.
All right, well, thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll have the second half of play. Stay with us right here on our Friday night Rivals Game of the Week.
A league matchup in the 4A West Conference steals to the second half. West Forsyth down 21-6. They took the lead late in the second quarter and now send the football away to the home squad, the Reagan Raiders, here on Hall of Fame weekend in Pufftown, North Carolina. Morione to boot this ball away. And another kick into the end zone. At least the argument there from Stephen Scales.
He's smart. He tried to be clever, get his feet outside of the end zone so that he could return that kickoff.
Little did he know his feet were in the end zone. The ball was outside the end zone, but he was in the end zone.
So that is automatically a touchback for North Carolina high school football.
In this case, the feet don't lie.
The feet don't lie.
How about Ziggy Malave? A blocked field goal, 2 fumble recoveries. Big first half for the linebacker.
Really big first half. Made impact plays on defense and on special teams all over the field. He was a monster.
He's a senior who also fills the punting role tonight for West Forsyth. Here on first down, Saunders breaks the tackle, and Malave slams him down after a gain of 12.
Well, you know, Malave actually did his job there that time, too. He did not allow the runner to get outside the box, kept him inside where a lot of his defensive buddies were hanging out at, but none of them could get to him. Saunders able to work his way up the field and pick up a nice chunk on the first play of the second half.
Malave entered this game with 32 tackles. He's been everywhere tonight. And a fresh set of downs for Jacob Smith, the freshman. Slings right. Ooh, nearly picked.
Man, oh man.
Davier Eldridge.
I mean, right there. He had it reserved, it was gift wrapped, and just dropped it.
Turnovers plenty in that first half.
Couldn't capitalize there. I'm surprised that the backup quarterback could not hold on to that one. I mean, that is...
It's going to hurt in the morning.
And that's a freshman mistake.
One turnover for each squad and 1 blocked field goal. So 2 missed opportunities. Jacob Smith back to work. 2nd and 10. Feeds Saunders. Skips outside. Jumps back in. And body slammed. J.D. LeGrant spun him to the ground.
It's a good job getting upfield, working his way through some of that traffic and picking up positive yardage.
Now, when LeGrant and Benson jump on top of you, that's like a sumo wrestler bringing to the ground. Those big bodies, 300 pounds each.
Talked about how fortified that defensive front is, especially those big 3 that are just up front manning it. They hold a lot of weight.
6'1", 310. I'm bringing him to hometown buffet with me. We're going to win a lot of competition in the D-line. 3rd and long. Turns into a first down. Nice catch near midfield. And William Tapp with his first catch of the night into West Forsyth territory.
He's found a soft spot in the zone defense of the Titans that time. Just sat down right where no one else was, and another fireball from Jacob Smith down the field, right there on the money.
I tell you, those fireball shots can exuberate an offense, bring life to it. And Tapp with his first catch of the night. It's a Crescent Ford first down. First down carry for Saunders, who's ripped behind, and Kennison Moore drags him down.
Fired off the ball that time. Moore just getting into the backfield, wrapping up Saunders, and he had nowhere to go.
And was there a face mask here, Mark?
Maybe. It looks like he's close. I think he may have actually ended up grabbing his jersey on the shoulder.
Sets up 2nd and 10. No gain on the play. Jalen Moore checks in at tailback. Play action. Takes his shot. And incomplete. A lot of tugging and coverage. I think Jalen Grimes got away with a PI there.
I think he did too. Oh man, I think he did too. And I don't know how the official doesn't throw that flag. It's right in front of him that time. Physical play down the field.
Now he did outrun the back judge.
Yeah, yes he did. Let's see, it's gonna be close to the center of the screen here. That's the first time we've seen Jacob Smith actually fire a football down the field too.
Maybe incidental contact.
May have been.
Maybe.
The physical play.
10 for Reagan. They've struggled on 3rd down tonight. Not to mention 5 penalties derailing a drive late in the first half for Reagan. Play action, but a whistle and a flag. That's a false start. 6th penalty for Reagan. Speaking it into existence.
Well, they were doing well to start this drive, working their way down the field. A few runs, passes, mixing it in very well.
Well, what did Josh McGee say at halftime? Self-inflicted wounds.
Right, exactly.
Just did it.
And we saw it at those halftime stats. Each team had those 5 penalties. It felt like so much more.
Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands. Caring Hands Home Health, hands-on, compassionate care around the clock. Now carrying for the football, 3rd and 15 for Jacob Smith. 2 minutes into the second half. Smith, with all the time in the world, throws past the sticks and caught. Makai Purvis. That's 23 yards for a first down.
Just a beautiful ball, great route, and a great play call that time by this offense of Reagan, just working outside. Smith recognized the coverage, got it over the top of the defender, and just a great play that time by Purvis. See him right there, got himself open, and a man beat his guy.
That's a freshman quarterback to a senior receiver, and Purvis, he was the former quarterback that Smith came in and replaced just 2 weeks ago.
You know, Coach McGee said it this week, they feel like they got better at both positions by making that switch.
The freshman feeds Jalen Moore, a fellow freshman tailback, and he gets 4 quick yards. Good stop by Caleb David, who has 125 tackles, counting this first half. We're in week 6 of a 10-week season.
Absolutely insane. Stats account in the playoffs, too.
West Forsyth leading on that defense. They've outscored Reagan with 3 straight touchdowns, both in the second and now the third quarter.
Still an impressive drive to open up the second half here by Reagan. It's got to end with points here. Get that momentum that you lost in the first half back on your side to start the second.
Reagan scored 20 straight points in the second half last week to defeat Davie County. On 2nd and 6, here's Moore off the left side. That's enough for the first down. Elusive tailback, Jalen Moore. He's tough to stop.
I'm a little concerned towards the end of the first half. He left and he was kind of holding his hands or his wrist, something in that area. Good to see him back on the field, and that explosiveness too. Had tons of room to work with. Didn't even get touched until he was just shy of the first down.
He reminds me of LaMichael James of Oregon. So quick and elusive.
Yep, DeAnthony Thomas, another one.
After that Crescent Ford first down. The lead tailback, who by no means is second fiddle, Zion Saunders returns.
These backs have been excellent here tonight as well.
Over 250 yards on the ground for Reagan tonight. And that was a false start not called. I think West Forsyth will take it. Loss of 1 on the carry.
No kidding. Saunders seemed like he stepped forward a little bit too soon. They're antsy right now.
Kennison Moore, part of the tackle. He got help from Will Hayes on defense.
Those point of attack runs really haven't done that much tonight for Reagan. It's been getting to the outside, turning the corner and using that speed.
Reagan on home turf, searching for a 3rd straight league win, 2-1 in the conference. West Forsyth starting the year 0-4, but back-to-back wins.
I think Jacob Smith might be keeping this one here, putting that ball in the air.
2nd and 10. He feeds Saunders, big hole off the right side, and he gets half of it back.
Well, they must have liked something they saw up front. Smith ran up to the line, changed the play for a second. Able to get a few yards there, and now a 3rd and manageable upcoming.
3rd and 7 officially. Adrian Snow's defense have forced 2 turnovers. They get a stop here on 3rd down.
Well, they're going to blanket right there at the first down marker. There's 2 safeties back.
That Trips is pretty open on this near side.
Yeah, they are.
So Smith, the freshman, on 3rd down, throws, open catch, Purvis, first down. He breaks a tackle inside the 10 to the 8.
Well, they dropped back into a zone that time. Purvis was left wide open right in the middle of the field. Good recognition that time by Jacob Smith to give it to his fellow teammate, fellow quarterback really, and move the chains.
Makai Purvis, 6 receptions last week. He gets his 4th today.
See him just sit down right in the coverage. They actually brought the blitzer. It was his man in coverage.
1st and goal. Reagan working clock to start this 3rd quarter.
I like the concept on that last play. Replace the blitzer, find out where the man is. Good execution.
Saunders, the tailback. Quarterback keeper. He breaks a tackle and is spun down after a short gain. 2nd and goal upcoming. You almost wonder if the quarterback should have given it to his tailback that time.
Yeah, and such a slow developing play. Caleb Smith seems like he may be more adept at throwing the football than running with it. Just a little too slow developing that time. You want to be giving it to Saunders, potentially more, even for his small stature. He can use that speed to turn the edge and maybe find pay dirt.
2nd and goal. Moore checks in at running back. So Saunders and Moore have traded places on this drive. Reagan has not led since the late minutes of the 2nd quarter. Moore wants to add to that, and he's well short. Convoy of tacklers in there, including big 98 Caleb Benson, KBB, setting up 3rd and goal.
Moore just running into the middle of that line. I don't know if that's the best play call for him in this situation.
Those 3 big defensive linemen, Benson, LeGrant, and Reed. It's a tough game to run across. This drive has worked 6+ minutes. And now a chance to take the lead for Reagan. Tailback is Moore. 3rd and goal. Lob to the end zone. Intercepted. Caleb David with the pick. And he wants a house call. Gets a block. And West Forsyth answers the call.
But West Forsyth saw exactly what happened in the last 3rd down. They had that man blitz off the side, and Purvis was left wide open to convert. That time, David dropped back into that same zone area, and that's exactly where Jacob Smith was looking at to throw the football. Watch this right here. Steps into it, nice easy throw, trying to go for Purvis again.
Richard Sherman would have been irate in that situation. Decide to throw, and David with the interception.
Just an instinctual play that time by David to drop back underneath in coverage, cover up Purvis, and then get the pick to boot.
That's the 4th interception for this defense in 2022. We have an injured man down for Reagan on the offensive side. We'll take the timeout midway through the 3rd quarter. Reagan unable to score. We have a 4-point game.
Yes. I just want to say if you want 5 minutes. No, I may grab my jacket. Yeah.
Caleb David stops a 7-minute drive. What a good stand by West Forsyth.
Just a great defensive stand. Again, talked about how they covered up that play call that time, having David drop back into coverage, recognizing where they faltered on the past 3rd down. So having David drop back under there and intercept the freshman, Jacob Smith.
1st down handoff for Chaplin, and he gets 7 yards on the ground. In that 1st half, these teams flipped the script. West Forsyth threw for 180 yards and ran it for 120, with Chaplin getting all of that on the ground.
Absolutely, just able to really work their way down the field and mixing it up by doing it, taking advantage of the aggressiveness of this Reagan defense. Those blitzes turned into positive screen plays for this offense of West Forsyth. And of course, we know the story running the football. It's all about number 34, Chaplin.
2 touchdowns for Chaplin, takes it on 2nd and 3. He looks to get outside and spun down. Jeremiah Bailey with the tackle.
It's a really sound tackle, getting up around the shoulders. He was already going lateral. Good job by this defensive front to get him to work more towards the sideline and then run him down from the backside to bring him down.
Bailey with his 10th tackle for loss of the year.
Just look at the pursuit this time, just not giving up on the play. Even though he's got his own defenders out there to assist, continuing to hustle his way down the line and make the stop in the backfield.
This is West Forsyth's first possession of the second half, and they face a 3rd and 6 with a flag. Might be 3rd and 11 here in a second. So it is 3rd and 11. Penalties adding up for both squads. 6 penalties.
Not where they want to be. On top of that, but expect this defense to be aggressive still.
3rd and 11 for Rice. It's a screen. Stevens hits his own lineman, and that may have cost him a first down after the pile pushes him for 5 yards. Tried the same play that scored 2 touchdowns, and it didn't work that time.
Well, again, you knew they were going to be aggressive, and that's what they lived off of in the first half. The bread and butter. You see Stevens just try to get upfield.
And that's Desmond Johnson getting in the way.
Just couldn't get out in time. As an offensive lineman, you've got to release that defensive lineman and start getting upfield so that you can get in front of your receiver.
And we told you this is the superstar of this team. Ziggy Malave back into punt. This is his 2nd week as the punter. He's got the flair, he's got the hair, he's got the boot to go along with it.
He does.
A fumble recovery. He's part of a blocked field goal, and now he tries to send this kick away. But we have a play clock violation. Do you need a timeout there if you're West Forsyth? Don't you just take the 5 yards?
I take the 5 yards. I don't know. I wasted the way that this game is gone right now, where you could be coming down the wire and something like that. An extra timeout, your 3rd timeout, could be super valuable. I would have taken the 5.
So West Forsyth, so dominant as a program, and one of their own played here locally just last week, and Rebecca Fiorentino has more.
Yeah, guys, I want to talk about KJ Henry, a former defensive end at West Forsyth who is now in his 5th year at Clemson. 2 weeks ago, the Tigers traveled to Winston-Salem to take on Wake Forest. One final home game for KJ, who played in front of over 30 family, friends, former teammates, and coaches. Before he was a Tiger, he was a Demon Deacon. His father coached there for a decade, and before he was a Tiger, he was a Titan. Coach Snow had a chance to see him play, and when I asked him what it meant to see him play, he got emotional, saying he's special. I've been blessed to have coached him to be a part of his career and life. He's amazing. He will change the world, and he's just one of those types of guys. He's been doing that through his father, Keith, who has suffered from kidney disease for more than 15 years, and earlier this year, KJ took advantage of NIL opportunities and raised more than $3,000 in an autograph session. So he's helping families along the way using his NIL.
Well, Coach Snow has spoken so highly about KJ Henry and all of his alums. We'll take a timeout here after the punt. West Forsyth's defense returns, and we come back for our Carolina Classic Friday Night Rivals game of the week. Stay tuned. In the 4th quarter, we'll have our West Rock scoring summary. West Rock, your local leader in paper, packaging, and displays. Come join our team at jobs.westrock.com. Here we go, Mark. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You went scissors, I went rock, so I won. West Rock, you always got to go with the rock.
Yeah.
That's how you tie an advertiser right there. Keep them happy. Here at Reagan High School in Pufftown, North Carolina. 4-point game. Neither team has scored in the second half. And the freshman quarterback working his tight end in motion here, Nazir Blackman.
Not for lack of trying. It was a productive last drive to start the second half for Reagan. Just no points on the board.
First down carry for Moore. Breaks 2 tackles. Jalen Moore breaks into the secondary. Down the sideline. And a horse string tackle. That's 15 extra yards after a big play from Moore.
And that's just not smart. On the back end of that play, you've got to be smarter than that. You know he's out of bounds at that point. You cannot throw him down to the ground. Good call by this officiating crew to throw the flag there, but another explosive play by Jalen Moore.
So it was a run of 52 yards and add what could be 15 more here.
Especially where they're so close to the end zone as well.
That should set up first and goal. Yep, first and goal from the 10. I love a good statistician. He just reminds me I'm right all the time. It's part of the business here.
Trying to inflate his head in this small little booth we have in the room here. But look at this. The run, the explosiveness, and breaking tackles, the toughness from the freshman. We've seen the speed, we've seen the elusiveness. Now we see the tough runner.
More in the first half, 160 yards on the ground, and he gets 50 more here. First and goal, Reagan. Moore again goes nowhere and loses a yard. First man to grab him, Anthony Reed, the senior D lineman.
See, that's just the play call right there. Well, I don't understand why they're not trying to get more to the outside and allow him to work more in space instead of going toe-to-toe with this big defensive front that West Forsyth has.
Coming up in the fourth quarter, stay tuned to find out who's the Carolina Classic Fair player of the game. The Carolina Classic Fair, riding, rocking, livestocker in the red zone. The short grass zone for Reagan. Quarterback escapes, screen route to Saunders, and Reagan takes the lead. After West Forsyth scores on 2 screen plays, it's Saunders in for the touchdown.
We'll really give that time to Jacob Smith, improvising, rush coming straight up the middle that time. He's able to roll out, reset himself a little bit to the right, and then get it out to Saunders, who makes the play and then finishes it off with a dive into the end zone.
That's a Riddle Tractor touchdown. Riddle Tractor making tall grass short. Making quick work of that drive, too.
Yep.
As the extra point is good.
That was the Reagan offense that we saw for much of the first half. Explosive, dynamic, able to attack you in many different ways.
Mark, this could be a candidate for our Roan Law play of the game. Roan Law fights and has the results to prove it.
Just getting away that time from Caleb David was Jacob Smith. Gave himself again enough time to
that was
that
in
throw
49
off.
seconds.
Yep.
Jalen Moore and Saunders go 72 yards.
Just like that, those 2 playmakers, freshman and Moore, and then the freshman thrower of the football. Your quarterback, Smith, finding Saunders for the screen, and 6. It's a good answer, good drive. And still operating. That's 2 efficient drives. One ending in the interception, now a touchdown in this second half. Reagan seems to be back where they were for much of the first half.
First time that West Forsyth has allowed points since the 9-minute mark of the second quarter. So Adrian Snow's club now down 3. Think about some of the extra point botched plays at West Forsyth.
Well, we're looking at a tie game otherwise, right? I mean, realistically, they had those 3 botched attempts in the first half.
Both teams missed field goals. And Lawson sends this away. Stay in play and fumbled. Returnable for Brian Wyatt, who then breaks a tackle. And Wyatt turns what could have been a detonating play out to the 30-yard line.
Stop par for the course for this game so far here tonight. Turning something out of really seemingly nothing.
Hold your breath if you're watching this football game tonight.
No kidding.
A battle for second place in the 4A West Conference. East Forsyth dominant. Mount Tabor at 2-1. And then who will join Mount Tabor as that next tier of team?
We'll find out here tonight. Right now, these 2 are going toe-to-toe with each other. It may be really, what, 3A and 3B.
And Reagan 6-1 in the league last year, one of the elites in the 4A West.
That included a win at East Forsyth, their first ever.
Good gang tackling by Nick Hall and company for a gain of 1. West Forsyth living through the air in the first half. They have struggled to get the running game going in the second.
Really, this Reagan defense started to key in a little bit on that, watching those ball carriers and gang tackling, getting to him with more than just one person, that person being Chaplin. And still blitzing, still being aggressive.
Came in Chaplin 150 yards plus. Jalen Moore, nearly 200 yards on the ground for Reagan. So these running backs are elusive tonight. There's Jalen.
They are showing out.
There's Chaplin breaking a tackle. He's pushing his own pile out to the 40, and it's 3rd and short.
Let's credit that all to number 34 in white. Just working his way down the field, pushing his linemen further along and picking up those extra yards.
Cayman Chaplin sets up 3rd and 2. I think there's an extra man on the field for Reagan. And yet, he's short of the first down marker. How is there not a flag there, Mark Covert?
I don't know.
Or was there only 10 men on the field? I mean, look.
Yeah, they're shuttling guys in and out.
I mean, I don't have the magic marker on me, but there's a lot of bodies. It's ruled a first down. And technically, West Forsyth does not have to snap the ball to end this quarter.
Generous spot. Looked like he may have been a little bit short, but they ended up giving him the first down.
So now they restart the clock. Okay, it's a learning night. We are late in the evening here, past 10 o'clock in North Carolina. Play action Rice. Open man. Bailey can't bring it in. He's been a deep threat all night. It's 2nd and 10.
I like the no call there, too. If you're going to have them hand fighting the whole way down the field, it's a physical game. It's a rivalry game. Let them play it out a little bit. Nothing egregious there as far as contact is concerned.
With Stephon Scales fighting Bailey in coverage.
He's going down the field. Good physical football play.
Look how dirty Bailey's jersey is. He's been a busy man tonight.
Laying out those blocks, getting down the field, trying to go for those deep attempts. We saw one on their first drive of the game as well.
Rice, play action, reverse. This is Stevens. Stevens at midfield, down the sideline. Stevens pushed out of bounds, and Scales might have saved a touchdown.
Man, they love getting Samaj Stevens, excuse me. That's Jordan Stevens, my apologies, in space. Lightning quick. We saw him the first couple times in the first half, the touchdown on the long screen pass. Now on the reverse play this time and just in the open field. That is too tough a play to make for anyone on that defense. Took a good angle to get him out of bounds along the sideline.
It's a crescent forward first down. Rice gives to Chaplin, cuts left. Chaplin jukes one. Woo! And almost a touchdown. Hall saved it after Chaplin put on the dance moves.
There are a couple of ankles sitting back towards the middle of that play. Subtle. My goodness. Shaking him out of his boots. That's Callahan. He made miss. What a run that time by Chaplin.
Could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Rice feeds Chaplin. Sneaks through the middle. Pushing backwards. 2nd and goal when we come back for the 4th quarter. Can West Forsyth take the lead in the final frame? Or will Reagan's defense be up to the task? We have the answer when we come back here in North Carolina. What a game. Reagan and West Forsyth in a 3-point battle for our Carolina Classic Fair Game of the Week.
presentation, your band of Raiders will be doing a post-game performance.
Welcome back. Welcome back for the start of the fourth quarter. West Forsyth and Reagan knocking on the door of the end zone. And Mark, this would be a crucial chance for the Titans to take the lead on the road.
Sure would. Knocking on the door right here to open up the fourth quarter. And the way that they've been running the football, especially with K'Mon Chaplin, he's been a huge bell cow for this offense. He'll have a chance to punch it in.
Let's go to Rebecca Fiorentino with more from the sidelines.
Well, hey guys, I am in the student section, and as you can see, tonight is Pink Out Night. These two teams are rivalries, but they're both supporting raising awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The sports marketing department made these t-shirts. On the back it says, "Today we bleed pink." All of them, most of them rather, are wearing these pink shirts. I've seen a pink Power Ranger. They're all decked out in pink today, including the players. But it's a total team effort on both sides of the ball to raise awareness for Breast Cancer Awareness Month this month.
Thanks, Rebecca. What a great cause. And you see both student sections sporting the pink, which that makes for a dynamic.
Yeah.
Students coming together just 5 miles apart, separating the schools.
Of course.
And maybe 2 yards separating a new leader of this football game.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the way that Chaplin and this offensive line has been able to run the football here tonight, it's a tall task right now for this Raider defense.
2nd and goal for West Forsyth. Rice feeds Chaplin, and he is just short. 3rd and inches upcoming.
Oh my. That's a stop right there. That is a massive stop.
West Forsyth has run the ball for 196 yards tonight. Need a big one on 3rd and goal. Back to Chaplin. He is in. West Forsyth marches down the field, and they take the lead to start the fourth quarter.
Blow for blow. These two heavyweights are going back and forth at each other. And again, it really just seemed like a matter of time before Chaplin found his way into the end zone, just diving in, clear path. Good job by his offensive line to clear the way. And Chaplin gets an easy 6 on the board.
7th touchdown of the season for Chaplin. And an important extra point for Morion is good. Extra point issues have been a woe for West Forsyth, but they make a big one here for a 4-point lead.
I mean, it's just
taking a timeout, Mark, and talk about the rest of this game. Early in the fourth quarter, West Forsyth back in front. Who's going to pull this one out on a beautiful Friday night? We'll find out next. Welcome back to Poptown. Close captioning for tonight's game has been brought to you by my apologies, the Screaming Fans of the Night. Stay tuned to find out who's tonight's fan of the game. There's a new haunt in town. Scream Dreams is the Triad's only world-class indoor haunted attraction. Even mistakes from all of us tonight, so it all comes full circle.
Yeah, spooky season, right?
It is spooky season.
It is spooky season. We're finally here. We made it.
It took a while to get to the fourth quarter. Penalties, injuries, missed extra points.
It's been a scary good game here tonight, I can tell you that much. These offenses seem to be rounding back into form. And the fourth quarter set up perfectly.
Alejandro Morion hits a line drive that goes into the end zone. Last time we saw Reagan with the football, an impressive drive. It was a screen pass for a touchdown of 11 yards, copying the script of West Forsyth.
Is it anything you can do, I can do better?
I can do anything better than you.
Yes, they can. Just like that, screen pass to go out, not to be outdone by the play before that, a long run for Moore.
Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands, Caring Home Health. Your family's needs are a top priority within our care. Caring Hands, Home Health. Energized student sections tonight on first down. Saunders dragged forward for a yard. Reagan has run the football for over 200 yards in the first half. Now over 300 yards in the game. They have pounded the ball on the ground.
Well, they have really made sure that anyone who thought that last week's performance of over 300 yards is not a fluke anymore. They have run the ball with authority here tonight. Offensively, they have had their way.
Just a 1-yard carry on first down. Keeping the quarterback. Rice throws a bullet. And that's caught by Purvis. He's had an impressive night. 6 receptions.
Had to dig that one out a little bit too. Just went down to get that football. Not the greatest throw by Smith here tonight, but just enough on it to give Purvis a shot to make that catch. Goes down and makes it.
Goes out to the 36-yard line as Purvis held on for dear life after the Crescent Ford first down. Carry here to Saunders. Follows his pulling guard and gets 5. That offensive line very good on the right side with Webb and Pendleton, college recruits, but don't sleep on the left with Gonzalez and Calhoun, the underclassmen.
And that was a really good play there. Just pulling around and allowing your running back to kind of pick his way down the field and get upfield before he makes those contacts. It was a solid run on first down with the pulls.
320 yards plus for this running game. So impressive. 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. Saunders again goes off right tackle. He's got the first down into territory of West Forsyth, and he drags defenders to the 46.
I mean, there was no one there on the right side of that offensive line. Saunders had days to work with running the football that time. Just an excellent play call and another terrific job up front by this offensive line of Reagan. They are dominating right now.
Crescent Ford of High Point serving the Triad since 1970.
I mean, they are running the ball well. They are giving Smith enough time to drop back there and make comfortable throws down the field.
He's the game manager in the second half, feeding his running game. And the true freshman at quarterback on 1st and 10 feeds Moore, the speedster, who gets a quick 4 on first down.
You see, they're trying to get those rushers upfield. Right now, Reagan's playing off of that. Just dictating the flow with how they are running the football. And even right there, when you're getting a couple plays, Caleb David making a heck of a play, breaking the tackle or shedding the block and making the tackle. But even after that, Moore still picks up 4 or 5 yards.
And West Forsyth's defense held Glenn under 100 yards rushing last week. A much more difficult assignment today. Led by the tailbacks of Saunders and Moore, tag teaming for 300 yards here on second down. It's a pass that's almost caught. That's Harvin. Good coverage by Jalen Grimes.
See Harvin limping a little bit. He was the one checked on earlier in this half. Came up hobbling before, now hobbling again. But that should have been a completion that time.
And could have been a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Harvin was running down the field. It was tight coverage on him, but he still got his hands on that football. He's got to come down with that one for his young quarterback.
3rd and 5 for the true freshman Jacob Smith. Reagan just watched West Forsyth march down the field with Chaplin's touchdown. How can they respond early in the fourth quarter?
Watch Purvis here at the top of your screen in the slot number 4. He's been their guy on 3rd down.
3rd and 5. Smith, he looks for a jump ball, and it's caught! Cassidy Harvin goes up and gets it.
One of the things is you got to have ultimate confidence in your guy, right? You miss him on the last play. He drops the pass on the previous throw. Go right back to him. It was a duck by Jacob Smith, but give Harvin credit coming back to that football, locating it in the air, and going to get it. That's one heck of a play.
Jacob Smith threw a jump ball, and his receiver helped him out. 1st and 10 from the 18, now in the red zone. Moore cuts left, and he goes nowhere quickly.
But you know what, even on that play, Moore doesn't get contact until he's at the offensive line, and they're 2 or 3 yards down the field. They are moving that defensive front of West Forsyth back.
518 total yards for Reagan, and we're early in the fourth quarter.
I mean, they are imposing their will up front. This is a defensive front that we knew was talented, but they are having their way with them right now.
And yet, red zone execution has cost Reagan tonight.
Exactly. And that's where their shortcomings have been.
Led 21-6 in the second quarter and have watched West Forsyth come all the way back.
I mean, if you told me that Reagan had rushed for over 300 yards in a game, I'd assume that it was a slaughter.
Second down carry for Moore, who sprints up the middle, and Moore might have enough for a first down. He is so fast when he gets the football.
Exactly. As soon as he gets that football in his possession, he is hitting that line of scrimmage in a hurry. No break off of that one. Just a straight line rush right up the middle.
As Steve Sarkisian of Texas would say, all gas, no brakes.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets the football and he runs with authority. Back-to-back 100-yard games for Jalen Moore.
And sometimes you would want to see maybe a little bit more patience, but right there, when you see the hole, you got to go. And Jalen Moore has done just that here tonight.
First and goal for Reagan. Here's Saunders outside, and Reagan jumps back in front, but a flag is down. Let's wait on the flag here. This is right at the goal line.
It looks like they're signaling it is against Reagan.
Chop block, possibly. Maybe a hold. There's the holding. Nearing double-figure penalties for Reagan tonight. That's the biggest.
I'm going to take a look here. Right around the goal line.
Look at 14.
No, I don't think it was 14. I think that was on purpose. Number 4 in the slot. Whoever he was actually blocking, they were trying to get off, and he just had his hands outside. See it right there on the edge of the screen.
So it backs Reagan outside the 10-yard line. First and a long goal to go. We'll say at the 12. All the adjustments from Jacob Smith, who replaces a senior starter, Cam Hill, who's now at Catawba as the starting quarterback for the Indians. Smith to throw, and a touchdown! The true freshman finds Purvis.
I mean, look at that right there. Just goes right back to him. Purvis may have potentially committed the penalty that wipes out one touchdown. They come right back to him on that play. A dart thrown by Jacob Smith. You can't do it much better than that. Fits it into a tight window between several different Titans. And Reagan is on the board.
His head coach, Josh McGee, said the true freshman quarterback, Jacob Smith, has a different level of talent as the extra point is good. Well, that talent fit a ball in a really tight spot.
I mean, that's an impressive throw. When you got to get into coverage and a shrunk down field, remember, there's less room that these defenders have to cover the closer you get to the end zone. That's a tight window to throw into, and that's a great route, a great throw, and a great catch from Smith to Purvis.
Look at this window. For a true freshman who can't even drive to the game, marches 80 yards down the field in 4 minutes.
Man, oh man, that is a throw. Impressed.
Both teams responding with touchdowns in this fourth quarter. So how does West Forsyth come back, and how do they march down the field?
Just continue to do what you're doing. I mean, these defenses don't really seem to have an answer for what the opposing offense has right now. Run that football. Continue to throw those screens whenever Reagan is being aggressive. They're bringing those guys on extra blitzes on those third and second downs.
Head coach Adrian Snow said at halftime, next man up. It's been the Jordan Stevens show tonight at the wide receiving position.
Well, absolutely, and that's giving this defense for Reagan something else to think about, which takes some of that pressure, not just off of Chaplin, but also Burt Rice. Having him come in motion, the defense is going to follow those two guys. It may open up things in the passing game.
Ryder Lawson to boot this ball away in a highly entertaining three-point game. Returnable for Brian Wyatt, the running back. And Wyatt's out to the 24. For more on West Forsyth, we'll go down to Rebecca Fiorentino.
Yeah, guys, I'd be remiss if we didn't get this in the broadcast, so I want to introduce our audience to one of the mainstays of West Forsyth's program, a beloved coach who's been around the program for about 30 years, and you can always find him on the sidelines near Coach Snow, holding his iPad. I'm talking about Coach Pat Murphy. He's a special part of this team. He may not be like you or me, but he shows up to practice every day on time, and Coach Snow told us he's the best part of West Forsyth. Pat has special needs, and he loves the game of football and loves being part of this team.
Patrick Murphy lives across the street from the football facility. He's there every day at 2 o'clock. He jumped in on our Zoom meeting this week.
Sure did.
And he was quite a hoot.
Yes, he is.
Now the offense for West Forsyth goes to work, and a short gain of 4 yards on the ground.
It's always nice when you have the community involved, of course, right? got those honorary members on your coaching staff that are always so not just supportive, but they're crucial. The development of your team, your community, your coaching staff, the school, everything.
Coach Murphy's in his 60s, and he told everyone in the city and in the area that he's going to be on TV tonight, so we get his shot in the fourth quarter. How can his offense put on a show? Down by 3. Burt Rice on second down is blitzed. The screen to Stevens is intercepted. Zeke Matias brings it in.
As successful as those screens have been here tonight, they have been playing with fire by waiting as long as they have to get them off. And that time, Burt Rice may have waited just a second too long, had to rush the throw. It goes right over Stevens' head on the deflection. And Johnny on the spot.
Look at Kamari Carter somehow hang on to that ball.
I mean, that's just instincts. Go down, you see the ball, your hands just go out, you don't even think about it. They just go out, reach out for it, and go and get it, scooping it off the turf. That is a play.
Sets up Reagan inside the 30 on first down. And Saunders rips a big hole up the middle. That's 9 yards on first down.
Now, this is where we have seen Reagan have an opportunity to get more points on the board, and they've squandered it in the past in this game. So now they have to capitalize. They have to get points on this drive, preferably, of course, a touchdown, but some form of points have to come off of this drive.
Reagan has come from behind in back-to-back weeks. This would be a monumental effort in the fourth quarter after losing a 2-touchdown lead to then overcome a touchdown deficit.
Well, this is where that adversity comes into play as well. How bad do you want it? You have to execute here. You have to get those points on the board.
These teams want to move to 3-1 in the 4A West. That's on the line tonight with 6 minutes to play. Smith feeds Saunders and pushes the pile forward. Spun down by Caleb Benson. He does get the first down.
At least it sure looks like it. They haven't seen yet. There they go.
So Saunders over 100 yards, and Moore, who just checked in, has 235 yards as the backup tailback.
Freshman who's been playing for, what, 3 weeks? Not bad.
The true freshman was inserted 3 weeks ago at Glenn in a comeback win. He was electric and has earned his spot. Sure makes the coach seem smart when he brings on the underclassmen to fill those shoes.
But if he gets the football here, expect him to start to bounce that thing outside and hit the hole quick. I mean, he is lightning in a bottle with the football in his hands.
From the 20-yard line, here's Moore. Ooh, he breaks the tackle. He pushes the pile forward, and look at Moore. He wants more. He's got 8.
For his size, breaking those tackles seems like a feat of God. Just getting up the field like that. Watch him, makes one man miss in the hold. That's Caleb David that he gets away from, no less. Bounces off his offensive lineman and picks up more yards. What an impressive
frustration from the West Forsyth defense with a man down here. That's 99, J.D. LeGrant, the senior D lineman. How difficult is it as a defensive player when you're unable to wrap up the elusive and the quick Moore, who's at 250 yards tonight?
Well, and that's the problem is, even for his size, he's not very big. We know this, 5'8", 175. But he's elusive. He's slippery. You're not going to be able to bring him down with an arm tackle because you can't get both your hands on him. So that's the thing. Even someone like Caleb David right there on that last play.
Are we sure that kinesio tape's not butter? Or like
Might
spam
be, right?
on his
Exactly.
arms that makes him tough to stick?
It could be. But even someone as sure-handed and sure a tackler as Caleb David is, you're going to get away from guys like that because you just can't corral them. And that's just impressive in its own right.
This dynamic duo of Jalen Moore and Zion Sanders have to make the running back coach, Chris McCoy, a happy camper every night when he goes to bed.
Well, we talked about in the open, this is an offense that really wants to throw the football. They like getting the football in the air, get their guys, their receivers in space, allow them to go to work there, get big gains through the air. They're running the football with efficiency, and that's putting it lightly right now.
Back-to-back weeks, 300-plus yards.
I mean, watch out.
If not 400 tonight.
Watch out.
And counting.
Reagan has been
363 yards rushing tonight.
Been proficient offensively this year.
That makes the protege, Josh McGee, the former assistant to Adrian Snow, a happy camper as his club works from the 13-yard line.
Just look for him to keep it on the ground.
Handoff Moore. He sprints for the end zone, barrels over a defender for the first down to the 6.
Just so fast. The offensive line really sealed it off, pushed all those defenders off to the left side, so Moore was really left almost one-on-one on the backside of his play. Look at that wall that's just formed.
And then Will Hayes just held on for dear life. First and goal. Moore, it's been his night. The freshman dives in. And what a night. 2 rushing touchdowns, 250 on the ground for the true freshman.
He wants some more. That's all you can say. Jalen Moore has been electric tonight, running the football, receiving it as well. And the way that he's done it inside the tackle, outside, bouncing and breaking tackles, juking people, everything you could imagine from your running back. He has done it here tonight. He has been a dynamo.
Reagan with the extra point, and Lawson extends the lead to 10 to 2-score game with 4:22. We'll take the timeout. Reagan might have just thrown the final knockout punch, and it came via the freshman tailback. It's Jalen Moore's night. He wants more, and we have more football after this.
.574.
Reagan is having a monumental night on the ground. 376 yards rushing. It's been a dominant night for Jalen Moore, that true freshman, and his counterpart, Zion Saunders, the tailback.
You see that kid's face? He turned around, he looked at the camera, and he just was like wide-eyed. Yeah, it's pretty much all of us up here in the booth so far here tonight watching them roll.
Keep in mind, Jalen Moore was on the JV team at the end of September. He joined the club 2 weeks ago. And now he's rushing for probably record-breaking yards as a true freshman.
It's not bad. He has had himself quite the night here tonight.
He subdued Josh McGee, holding back a smile as his young tailback takes over.
Well, here's the thing. It's a 10-point ball game. It's not over yet.
No doubt. Not the way West Forsyth can sling the ball around. And Stevens brings it out from his 3. Not great blocking, but he turns it into something. Stevens is wide open. How about that response on the 97-yard touchdown?
There is 4 minutes and 7 seconds left. This game is not over. It's not over. For as good as Reagan has been here in the second half, all it takes is one play like that. I mean, it's been back and forth, and now Jordan Stevens makes his second house call here tonight. What a return.
He's been the screen game machine. Now he's the kick return machine.
And we just watched this. It's an alley, and he just makes a burst right there. One cut, and he's gone. I mean, you can kiss it goodbye right there.
There wasn't a single block on that play. He just outran everybody.
Just found an alley. Man, oh man. Did you catch your breath yet?
By the way, Mark, that's a Riddle Tractor touchdown. Riddle Tractor making tall grass short. And the way Reagan tried to chase him down, it was like they're running in thick grass, and he was running in the thin stuff.
And made short work of that Reagan return team, too.
Extra point crucial with 4 minutes to play for Morion. With the flag girls in his face, he makes it in the eyes of the Raiderettes. So now it's a one possession, one field goal game with 4 minutes left.
Of course it is. I mean,
This game has been incredible, hasn't it?
Now with Jordan Stevens, though, he moves to the slot receiver position this week.
Yep.
2 touchdowns on the screens and a 97-yard kickoff touchdown.
I think you would say that they found something with this young man in his ability to get the football in his hands and then the magic that usually ensues shortly thereafter.
Good luck to catch him, Landon Callahan, who is targeted by Power 5 programs, ECU, Duke, NC State, but no chance to catch Jordan Stevens.
Sometimes someone's just a little bit faster than Landon Callahan. Figured that out really quick on that.
He's so fast, he makes fast people look not so fast.
I know.
Okay, Mark, but on a serious note, West Forsyth has struggled to make stops all night. How do they get a stop here with 4 minutes to play?
Well, you just need to come back and continue to run the football. You know that West Forsyth is going to sell out to stop that right now. So diagnose those looks, but still understand. Smith is just a freshman. Jacob Smith is not very far into his high school football career, but he's made some really nice throws here tonight. He's made some good decisions for the most part.
He needs to make a 4-minute drive to end this game.
Hey, but that's possible right now.
Need I remind you, West Forsyth has won 15 of the last 19 meetings, dating back to 2005, when this high school opened here at Reagan. Ronald Reagan High School, if you want the full connection. And after an onside kick earlier, the quarterback is on the hands team return, putting Jacob Smith in harm's way here against Alejandro Morion.
That was very nice.
What does he have in store? The pooch. Now hold on to this. This is a live football, and it's scooped up by Reagan. Dropped to the 21-yard line. That was left in no man's land, and Jalen Grimes cleaned it up.
Man, that is a dicey play to let that football just kind of bounce. Because you just don't know which way it's going to go, and if it bounces right back towards that kickoff unit, look out.
Jordan Stevens now with 270 all-purpose yards, and that kick return put West Forsyth right back in this.
Man, oh man.
So Jacob Smith is not old enough to drive himself to school. Let's see if he can manufacture a game-securing drive with 4:03 to play.
You might as well give him his license if he can.
The tailback is Zion Saunders. This running game has churned out over 500 yards of total offense. Here's Saunders on first down, gaping hole, and he's chopped down short after a gain of 6. Let's go down to Rebecca Fiorentino.
Well, guys, I did some investigative research and found his parents in the stands. His dad played quarterback at Georgia, and I had to ask who drives him home after practices and games since he's only 15. His mother. He turns 16 in March, and he'll get that driver's license then, but he's got proud parents in the stands, grandmother, and also in the stands, he's got 2 older sisters and a younger brother.
Got some big shoes to fill as a true freshman. He looks to do it. 2nd and 5 for Jacob Smith, the freshman quarterback. Every second valuable here in the 4th. 3:20 to go. Saunders again. Spins off a tackle. He's got the first down, and Saunders breaks loose. Wrapped down at the 46 after a gain of 20.
Wow. What a run by Saunders that time, squeaking through a hole that his offensive line created and then busting it loose with a few broken tackles. Again, the rushing attack for this Reagan offense strikes true.
599 yards of offense tonight. And they'll need every yard of it with 3 minutes to play.
And look at the freshman, knowing exactly what the situation is, taking his time.
When do you use the timeouts if you're West Forsyth?
Well, it's got to start soon. The way that they're running the football right now, you've got to conserve some amount of time. But it's got to start with your defense making a few stops.
2 timeouts left. Remember, they used one in the 3rd quarter to avoid a penalty. And off to Saunders. Great tackle. And a loss of 1. That's stopped by Marcus Wilson in the timeout, West Forsyth. So if you're doing the math at home, 40-second play clock, 1 timeout left. West Forsyth will most likely get the ball back if they get a stop with just over a minute left.
It's got to start with a stop here. If it's a first down, it could potentially be ball game at that point in time.
And how big is that timeout in the 3rd quarter on the delay of game?
Well, we brought that up, right? Because we were sitting here thinking you don't take the delay, or you take the delay of game. You don't waste your timeout in a game that's been so tight now since the 2nd quarter. You can't afford to give up a timeout like that, and they took it. Now you have to essentially pay for it if you don't end up coming back and winning this game.
Reagan has run the ball for 402 yards tonight, just grinding the football through the heart of West Forsyth. And yet, the Titans are 2 stops away from having a chance to tie it up.
Absolutely, or potentially take the lead, right? The way these offenses have been operating here tonight, it has been all touchdowns so far, no field goals.
The difference in this game, Mark, is missed extra points from West Forsyth.
Talk about it every week. 3 phases to the game, right? There's offense, defense, special teams.
Setting up 2nd and 9 for Reagan. The tailback is Moore. He gets the football. He wants a first down. This could ice the game, and he's tripped up at the 45. 3rd and 1 upcoming. No timeout called yet. So Adrian Snow rolling the dice. First down here will end the football game.
I don't understand how you don't take the timeout. I mean, at this point in time, they get the first down. The timeout doesn't matter at all anyways.
22 seconds on the play clock. This is the ball game right here. 3rd and 1, which I imagine will lead to 4th and 1 if they don't convert. Because that young man has been electric.
He sure has. But I got to tell you here, Evan, the way that it kind of looks, I'd get number 29 in the backfield. I'd get Saunders in the backfield because this situation,
even though Jalen Moore has 250+ yards rushing,
it just beckons for a bigger guy to tote that rock. You got 1 yard to go. As great as Moore has been tonight, this is Saunders territory.
Reagan has overcome deficits in 2 straight weeks. And head coach Josh McGee told us coming in, the maturity and the development of our team has been so huge. Well, this is a mature moment. Can an adult team put this game away?
Well, and that's kind of what we talked about too a few minutes ago, right? Like if you have that built-up ability to come back from these games, to fight back against adversity, to mature, to show that you are a cutthroat football team, this is one of those moments. And this will be a moment that you can look back on the season and say, hey, this either brought us together or tore us apart. And they've got an opportunity now to kind of establish themselves within this conference as a true threat to be taken note of as we inch closer week by week towards the playoffs.
Both teams at 2-1 in the 4A West. East Forsyth the win tonight, 4-0 to lead the division. And a race for 2nd place between these 2 nearby rivals. Just 7 miles separate the 2 teams. And now 1 yard separates the end of this game. Adrian Snow versus Josh McGee, former assistants together. And the Wildcat, Purvis, goes under center. Purvis pushes the pile for a first down. So the senior comes under center and ices this game.
Yeah, again, right to the bag of tricks that time for this offense. Purvis, we already alluded to it, was the starting quarterback to start the year. Now moves to slot receiver. Jacob Smith moves over as starting quarterback. Purvis gets that snap. And how sweet it must be you beat your rivals here at home after an electric game that we've seen here tonight on Friday Night Rivals.
Over 600 yards of total offense for Reagan, and those last 5 were the most important of the game.
Just pushing their way forward and essentially putting this one on ice.
Final minute of this 4th quarter. Moore back to work. And Moore gets just 2 yards and a timeout. So with 1 minute left, I'm not sure if that'll be enough for West Forsyth.
This one's over. I'd be surprised if we didn't see them.
Ball security important in this moment.
Hey, victory formation. Even if you need to do that out of the pistol or even the shotgun, make sure that you hang on to that football.
How about Jalen Moore, by the way? The true freshman was on the JV team 2 weeks ago. 260 yards on the ground.
And just an electric night here tonight. Announce his presence to the rest of the conference,
County, rest
the area, the state.
Our Friday Night Rivals game presented by Rome Law, My 48 TV. What a night for running the football. West Forsyth in danger of dropping to 2-5. The last non-winning season for Coach Adrian Snow, 2012.
You don't hang around somewhere for 30 years
and be a driving force for the community every single year if you don't find success. Adrian Snow has found plenty of it.
Josh McGee's club, coming off an 8-3 season, look to move to 5-2 with winnable games left in the conference the next 2 weeks.
And they went up against a tall task here tonight. I mean, this is a team in West Forsyth that has rediscovered its groove here in the last 2 weeks. Beating Parkland 52-0, a tough win on the road against Glenn, 28-21. So they found some formulas to win those first 2 games of the year. And they were going to have a chance to come in here and make some noise. They certainly did, but not nearly as much as what Reagan was able to create here tonight.
Victory formation, no, it's a handoff to Jalen Moore, who breaks the tackle. His record night continues down the sideline. And Moore puts this game on ice with a first down. Nearing 300 yards on the ground for the true freshman.
It's electric, and that's just such a huge threat, because you think you have Saunders locked away. He had over 100 yards tonight as well. Now you add a true almost change of pace back. Saunders, not skipping out on the speed, but
285 yards for the freshman.
Jalen Moore is a different animal in the backfield.
And here's the victory formation. Reagan head coach Josh McGee asked of his team, can we be mature and overcome a deficit? Well, they certainly did, led by the true freshman Jalen Moore, and a home victory on Alumni Weekend and Hall of Fame weekend. Reagan overcomes West Forsyth for a 42-39 thrilling win.
Just an electric performance the whole way around. A true game, fitting to be on Friday Night Rivals, but they were so good here tonight, both sides. It got a little heated, got a little iffy in the first half, but able to put that aside, play quality football in the second half, and finish out one heck of a game here on Friday Night Rivals.
Reagan moves to 5-2, gearing up for Parkland next week. West Forsyth drops to 2-5 with a matchup versus Davie County coming up. And these two teams provided so much offense, nearly 1,000 combined yards between the programs, and it came down to a couple extra points and the running game of Jalen Moore in the fourth quarter.
Well, they were just so good at running the football. And as much as we want to talk about Jalen Moore and Saunders, you really got to give credit to that offensive line. They were so good here tonight, bullying the defensive front of West Forsyth, overcoming the immense talent that they have along that front and getting the work done for their running backs and their quarterback, Jacob Smith.
After the 97-yard kickoff return, you thought, well, maybe West Forsyth would have one last gash, but the 4-minute drill puts the game away. And there's the freshman whose mom will drive him home tonight. He celebrates the victory. And I want to talk about the fellow freshman, Jalen Moore. 285 yards rushing. What a performance for our player of the game, the true freshman.
Just absolutely incredible all night long. The speed we saw early on, but developed into so much more. Even after that, we saw the power, breaking tackles, elusiveness, spinning away. You see right there just another display of all those skills. And they've got a couple of special freshmen in the backfield here between Smith and Moore.
That's the Carolina Classic Fair play of the game. Fair riding, rocking, and livestock with Jalen Moore. He took over in this football game. And that leads to our play of the game. Moore was the fantastic player, and then our Roan Law play of the game. Defense the story. It was offensive minded, but this pick might have sealed it.
Well, absolutely. Just gave them another opportunity to seal this game away. An incredible play the whole way around by this defense, hurrying the throw and then catching the football off the deflection for the interception. Just a heads-up instinctual play that time that essentially salted this one away once the offense was able to tack another touchdown on the board.
That's Kamari Carter with our Roan Law play of the game. Great interception in the fourth quarter. Mark, hold your breath here, my friend. We got some yardage to talk about.
Oh boy.
629 yards for Reagan in the victory, their most all season. And what a performance from this offense.
I mean, just incredible. I don't know how many more ways you can possibly say it. The way that they were able to execute tonight flawlessly almost in the second half. Able to overcome that early turnover on their first drive and put points on the board every drive after that. A virtuoso performance by this Reagan offense tonight.
So let's go down with the winning head coach and more with Rebecca Fiorentino.
Now? Just kidding, Coach. We're going to do it now. Well, this game was a heavyweight battle, toe-to-toe until the very end. What was the difference maker in this second half for your squad?
I think we just handled ourselves a little bit better. You know, the composure. We talked at halftime. We lost our composure a little bit, which in turn gave them some momentum. And so once we kind of got that momentum back, kept our composure, and it's all about these guys. They played their tails off, and couldn't be more proud.
Your freshmen put on a show, and Jalen Moore and Jacob Smith. What do you have to say about their performance tonight?
They're special, but they're 2 of 11 out there. They can't do anything without these other guys with them, but 2 very special players, and you know, very fortunate to have them.
You now move to 3-1 in conference play. How sweet was this one?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who we play. You know, the goal is to go 1-0 at the end of every week, and anytime you can beat your rival, it's always pretty sweet, though.
All right, Coach. Well, now it's time to give you this big trophy, our Friday Night Rivals. Coach, no problem. Coach, enjoy this one. And team, guys, enjoy this one.
Reagan High School, the winner of our Friday Night Rivals matchup. Now that is a fun moment. 2 schools separated by 7 miles, and it came down to one final drive, and Reagan pulled it out for the victory.
They sure did, and the way that both teams kind of fought back here tonight, they faced so many challenges across the board. This was a game that really had everything. If you talk about being a football fan, they had it all, but Reagan able to have a little bit more composure, as Coach McGee said, and find a way to pull out the win late.
Mentee defeats mentor tonight. We would like to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors who make this game possible. We'd also like to thank Capital Metals and High Point for providing the plaques you see tonight, including that trophy. Cook's Reynolds for their high end zone views, and a mountain fried chicken for our pregame meal. Mark and I ate that up a couple hours ago.
Yes, sir.
And finally, thank you to our participating high schools and their administrators for their support of our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals broadcast. Our next game comes up next Friday at 7:30. Mark, Rebecca, and I will be in a homegrown matchup. Oak Grove Grizzlies and the Ledford Panthers right here on my 48 Sports. Tell you what, Mark, entertaining night for offense. These teams had nearly 1,000 combined yards, a lot of points. And the scoring summary was up and down and all over the place.
Take a look at it. I mean, it's incredible. 14 points apiece in the fourth quarter, but you see how fast Reagan started this game, only to be outdone in the second quarter by West. And really from there, even though it was 14 points in the fourth quarter by West Forsyth, Reagan was in command in the second half.
The difference, a couple of missed extra points and a 2-point conversion that came up short for West Forsyth. Reagan wins the hometown matchup, 42-39. What a game. For my partner, Mark Covert, and our sideline reporter, Rebecca Fiorentino, hardworking crew here in North Carolina. What a battle in Pufftown. West Forsyth came out storming out fast, but Reagan with the freshman took over. Final score, Reagan wins it 42-39. This is our Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, presented by Roan Law. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Friday for Oak Grove and Ledford. But for here tonight, the Reagan Raiders, your home winner. And we say good night.